We're what, a week out from the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Last year I pulled all-American move. Took the Monday after the Super Bowl off.
Classic.
Went shed hunting.
Yep.
Found 2 good antlers, including my biggest.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, what's more American?
All-American.
All-American move right there.
Ate at Denny's in the morning, you know.
The HUNTR Podcast is brought to you by Hoyt.
Should be no surprise to anyone listening to this that back with Hoyt another season. I'm actually going to be shooting the AX2 aluminum this year.
You traitor.
But you're still going RX9.
Yeah, blacked
carbon,
out as always.
Blacked out. Big surprise for
80
everyone.
pounds. Big surprise. Yeah.
But seriously, man, I mean, it shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. Every year it seems like we get a new Hoyt bow in our hands, and they're always a step above the last and just a step above everybody else.
Yeah, they're so consistent, man. Just their processes get better, every year. And we've really been excited about, as we've grown with Hoyt, we've brought some others in with us. And we just feel like the Hoyt family is growing, like the community, and we're really excited about the people that are involved, excited to be a part of that company. And it's really awesome.
So for anyone that's excited about Hoyt like Jared and I are, you can use the code HUNTR, HUNTR, on Hoyt.com.
Get serious, get Hoyt.
And we're back.
Heyo.
HUNTR Podcast, episode 303.
Oh, we didn't even discuss that before.
I looked.
We got the number straight.
I got it. 303.
303. It's a band, right?
No, that's 311.
No, there's a 303.
There's a 303 band?
For sure. More new age.
See, I'm old. I was thinking like 311.
Isn't that like Miley Cyrus's brother or something was in that band?
Was it in 311?
303.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't even know that was a band.
Anyways. Before we get going, I'll thank everybody for being here, whether you're listening on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. Those are the 3 main platforms that we drop these episodes on. We do that every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. If you've written us on Instagram DM or the website, those are the 2 that we check the most frequently. And as always, maybe there's a little bit of a lag there, but we do diligently try to get through those.
We're getting there.
A lot of you guys have bought merch off of our HUNTR website. We appreciate you guys supporting us in that way. I know we have some cool stuff coming for 2026 that's maybe just an idea right now, but it'll be real. It'll be real at some point. Probably this summer sometime. So, but in the meantime, you guys can use code HUNTR, HUNTR, on any of our partners' websites for a discount in some way, shape, or form. And other than that, here we go.
It is January 29th.
Yeah, and with us here in studio today, we got Byron Horton.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, otherwise known as what would be Instagram handles, and how would you the people recognize you?
Whitetail Experience.
Dude, honestly, when I saw your name for the first time, I was like, I would not have put those 2 together. I knew the Whitetail Experience first and foremost.
Yeah, that's where I would have picked it up, I think. Whitetail Experience.
Yeah. I got a few YouTube videos that have done better, and the Instagram, and then lately with some of my ranting about technology.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Whitetail Experience is probably where people recognize
That's where we've seen it for sure.
Yeah.
You got a YouTube channel called the Whitetail Experience as well?
Yeah. 12,000 subscribers, so nothing mega, but nothing, I'm proud of that number.
Yeah, man.
Nothing to balk at for sure.
I think the technology thing here recently is probably, that might even be why we connected. I'm sure it's been around, like we're like, we got to reach out to this guy. And then we started to see some of the rants, and we're like, I like this guy.
Well, because we're over here bitching like half the time, and then I see you chime in. I'm like, okay, this guy, he sees it also. That's probably where this conversation rooted from.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
So, drove over from Columbus area.
Yeah, Columbus area is where I reside, and about 3.5, 4 hour jaunt. But pretty cool to do it in person too. I don't know,
for sure, man.
I follow the podcast too, as far as like a regular listener. So this is kind of cool to be on this side of the seat.
Well, appreciate you offering, to come out here and stuff. Yeah. We never try to force anybody's hand to do that, but it is better in person. And
we just had like the Snowmageddon.
Despite you saw the trail. That was this morning. We shoveled ourselves in there. Like by the door, there was probably 3 feet.
I was breathing easier as I came up to the building, and I'm like, okay, the plow truck did come yesterday, so we can get into the building. And then Jared's like, you got to watch that walkway. It's a little sketchy. And I look, there's like 4 feet of snow against the door. I'm like,
he's walking in with a big box of Tacticams. So I was like, let me get that shovel.
We're going to have to shovel some stuff first. So we got it cleared out, and we got in.
So, dude, we got that right. You are from Columbus area, right?
Yeah.
Originally, or?
Yeah, born and raised there. Used to live on the north end, now on the south end.
Mm-hmm.
The redneck hobbies, made that transition. Hey, I want to live just on the outskirts, but still got a day job. Done some stuff in the space here over the last 10 years.
What's the day job?
Finance division for the electric company.
Okay. Oh, cool.
So, cool. No.
Well,
the side stuff is way more fun.
Yeah, but it funds the fun stuff.
Yes.
Does that work out for you? They give you some like flexibility during the season, or is that a?
It's good. It's not perfect. I did argue when onboarding for more days time. So that's I can't complain in that aspect as far as time off.
You've been how long you been there?
It'll be 5 years, but I jump started when I think they offered like 2 weeks, and I was coming from 5, and I was like, I'm not going backwards, folks.
Yeah.
So they gave me a couple like what I'll call blacklisted PTO
days. Yeah. Very nice.
But yeah, I think that I got enough time, especially with kids and stuff. I am a fan of the half day, I will say.
Sure.
Burn a half day. I can also sometimes jump on the good weather days midweek.
Work from home sometimes, or is it all
not anymore
in office?
Not anymore. Yeah, we're back at the office. Plus, I got 3 kids under 5. A concentration hours
doesn't happen.
Home from not great.
Yeah.
That's why I'm also in the office by myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, right on.
Just doesn't work.
So, dude, would you say most of your hunting is kind of like in that Columbus area? You identify, obviously, you're an Ohio resident, right?
Yeah.
So that's your home state.
So I will say this for podcast sake. I probably hunt 90% public land, and I got a handful of like permission, and I do own some ground, but all average sizes, if you will, anything from like 2 acres to something under 50.
Yeah.
But in a given year, I got like 2 or 3 places that I can step foot on private wise. But yeah, 90% of the time, public land. I like the big woods. Kind of fell in love with that.
Because that's kind of a struggle there in the Columbus area, right? I mean, land is a premium there.
Yeah, and I do some driving.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Even out of state, like I've done some. Hey, wake up at 12:30.
Yeah,
get to another state by sunrise kind of thing.
Interesting.
Wake up at 12:30.
Yeah,
that's pushing the limit of like don't even go to
bed.
Why even go to sleep?
Well,
2:30 is like kind of the cutoff. You're like, okay, I guess maybe an hour of sleep would do it.
I mean, I'm just a morning person. Like, don't ask me to do any crazy driving at like 10 p.m.
Yeah.
But like today, I got to.
We're both morning. Yeah. We'll do it.
Just get up and roll.
Yeah. Might as well sip some coffee, podcast, and go. Maybe a little nicotine. You never know.
Yeah. That'll get you fired up.
So where are you driving to? Like to PA Big Woods, or do you head west at all? Or you don't have to say exactly. That's fine.
No, I've done a handful of out of state, surrounding Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
And if I want to get somewhere in about 3.5 hours, I can do it. Even to hunt like regular stuff, I drive anywhere between 1 to 2.5.
Wow.
Just depends on the year, and I've fallen in love with certain areas. Bounce around EHD, for example.
Oh yeah. Smoked.
Yeah. I used to hunt a little more farm country, and then I was like, dude, I'm just drawn to the big woods. Like,
me too.
It might as well just let that ride down. Don't get me wrong. My mid-October hunts in the big woods are not near as exciting or easier to dial in.
No.
But I just said, you know what? That's what I want to do. I can remember being a kid, driving to my grandparents and being like just staring off into the big woods forest that surrounded where they lived. I'm like, this is cool. And I grew up a city kid.
Yeah.
Mom was anti-firearm. Dad sure as heck didn't hunt. But Gary Yager said, you want to come to deer camp one year when I was like 16, 17? Dude, set the hook, I'm in.
Wow.
Yeah, it launched it. Obviously, like I've done some cool stuff, like edited for a couple web shows like Whitetail Addictions 5 years ago. Somewhat done some cool projects. Steve Pinkston, his YouTube launch of his e-bike company. I shot that. And heck, I got a little, now Kevin Vistison and I are launching Deer Hunter gear. And so it set the hook, man, and I love this stuff.
What was so Gary was the guy that basically said, hey, come to deer camp. Like, did he sense that you had a desire to be outside, or did he look at it as like, hey, here's a city kid that needs some outside experience? Like, what was that relationship?
So my best friend in high school was Corey Yager, Gary's son. And Gary found the outdoors, I don't know, he worked for AOL in the 90s. He had a farm where he was going to later move to, but he had bought some acreage in a very good county here in Ohio. And like VIP first hunting experience, like 120 acres, cabin, 4-wheel paths, high deer density. So seeing deer. Dude, like couldn't have asked for like a better start. And I missed a buck first hunt, like, or at least, some of that stuff that set the hook perfectly where I didn't get that I don't know, reward right away. It took me like two
But you were
seasons.
in place for success.
Yeah, and seeing deer and like waking up and like putting on the face paint as we're like, I don't know, listening to like 80s, 90s rap and like giving each other shit at camp. And yeah, dude, like it said it.
That first deer camp was at that 120 acres in Ohio?
Yeah, so a lot of times like we would drive out on Friday and come back Sunday.
Yeah.
And Corey and I both, at the time, he was still in high school and I was playing college soccer. So sometimes like we really couldn't hunt until the second half of November, early November, just depending on things. But yeah, we would go out there for a lot of 2-day camps.
Was that a like archery hunting or a gun hunt to start? Or?
You know, started with the crossbow and a hand-me-down onesie.
Yeah.
It was like a Horton, I don't even know, 175.
No relation.
No relation. I did write
They're like, here, this weapon has got your name on it, literally.
I did write an email letter to Horton in like 17 years old. Like, we
Sponsor
should
me.
Listen, this is destiny.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know me, but
kind of a
big
deal.
deal.
Never shot a deer. Sign me in. Let me be on your pro staff.
Yeah, but I mean that's what I was going to ask when you were talking about that, because I think most people's deer camp experience would be like opening day gun season, which is a whole different feeling than just going out like during October or November bow hunting, essentially. You know, and I think both have their kind of excitements, right? Like the opening day of gun is like the Christmas morning type of thing. Like everybody's ramped up, ready to get out there and hunt. And then like the bow hunting side is like you could experience the rut if you're in November, right? And it's not like gunshots all over the place and people driving deer and stuff. It's like you're just in a stand like and watching deer in their element. So it's two very different things. I would say most people probably grew up getting pushed into their first deer hunting experience was probably opening day of gun season.
Yeah.
Which was not yours.
I mean, we still gun hunted. Yeah. Opening day was still a priority. Yes, we pushed deer. And, like, we were definitely, like, Dickie Mo level. Like, we didn't even play the wind. We were just going to spots.
No.
You know,
was it just the three of it? Was it you, Corey, and Gary? Or was there other guys there as well? Or
So Gary would bring his, Tim, which was his adult friend. At the time, they're probably in their mid-40s, and Corey and I are 16 to 22. During a lot of that time period is a good way to describe it.
And did you hunt like together? Did you and Corey, would you go sit stands together, or was there any kind, it was just kind of, here's your stand, we'll pick you up, meet here at dark?
A lot. So obviously first couple times Gary sat behind me 50 yards.
Okay.
And then it got to the point
in a tree on the ground?
So he had like 4x4s that were like, had some power towers 15 foot up.
Oh, yeah.
Thing.
Okay.
And that was like the first, hey, why don't you get elevated into this very safe climb? Then we went to the...
No harness for sure, right, at that time?
No harness for those stands.
Definitely.
No.
Yeah.
But he did have harnesses...
We have them. I mean...
for the traditional tree stands. He even had some like lone wolf setups. Like,
oh, wow.
Yeah, Gary...
He was the real deal.
He was into it. He had half the Cabela's catalog, it seemed to, you know.
Well, it seemed like he was very mentor-oriented, right? If he sat 50 yards behind you, he's like, I'm going to give you space, but I'm here if you need me type of thing.
Exactly. And actually, probably one of my favorite deer hunts is the first time Gary left us the keys to the cabin. Here's two 17-year-old boys, and we're like, dude, we're going to prove it. And a doe cracked me sliding the crossbow up the garment I was wearing, but she heard that stock go right up.
Yep.
And... yeah, that, like, to this day is, like, burned into my head. Probably the loudest I've ever heard my heart beat, because it was like let's call it a 5-minute encounter, which seemed like forever.
Yep.
You know, where they worked from 80 to 20. And, yeah, I can still remember, like, my heart is, like, in my ears. Like, what is this, like, feeling? Probably, like, the biggest buck fever I experienced, even maybe to date, honestly.
Yeah, just that first one. And watching her, it wasn't, like, right on top of you, so you didn't even have time to think or panic. Like, it was...
And trying to prove it to Gary.
Sure.
We can shoot a deer, find a deer, gut a deer. Like, even gutting deer, we were like, how do you do it as two 16-year-olds with, you know, a Gramble hunt?
I remember when I got my license, and it was like the immediate pass to be like, okay, well, I'm going to camp by myself. Like, I don't need my dad or my grandpap or whoever. Like, we'll go up, but I'll get my cousins. We'll, like, go up to camp. And it was like, it's a whole different experience at that point to just be, I was there as much as I could get to it. Whether it's hunting, fishing, you know, squirrel hunting, turkey hunting, deer hunting, didn't matter. Like, I just wanted to be at camp every weekend.
There's definitely like a continual, like, you talk about proving it, like you and Corey are like 17, we're going to put a show on, we're going to go get our deer by ourselves. There is like a motivation and also, you know, like a continual coming of age, you know, as you know, hit benchmarks in your hunting career that you're like, yeah, you want to be able to show it to your dad and to get like Gary, your mentor, whoever you're kind of like looking up to in that space to be like, we did it. We came back with one. I can relate because I have a good buddy, Corey, whose first deer camp experience was like very similar to yours. It was on our property in Ohio for archery season. Like we never really were big gun hunters. And Corey was, even though he's older than me, I'd been hunting a lot longer than him, and at some point, I don't remember exactly how it happened, but he got invited to come to the farm, and whether it was me or dad or a combination of, we're like, yeah, you should come out. And the difference was I hunted. Well, no, it was the same. We basically said, hey, Corey, your stand's down there, and there was some tough years there where he would find stands that weren't even like ours, like you know what I mean, like the classic, you know what I mean, like he shoots at deer and like has no idea what happened, and so. We learned to be better mentors over the that couple of years of that happening, to where eventually Corey and I hunted together every time he came out, and eventually started to like be really successful. He's now killed 4 or 5 off of our farm, and then the past couple of years has gotten to a point where he's done some of it himself.
Nice. Where
he'll we'll talk about what stands to go to, and I'll let him make the decision, and
he goes.
He'll go, and he's killed some nice bucks by himself, and so I'm pretty proud of him for that. So
yeah,
shout out Corey.
Shout out to Corey. Shout out to the Coreys. Coreys. Well, that's cool, man, because it's it was the first thing we were kind of talking about there pre-podcast is like your excitement and interest in this was not family derived, which in a weird way, I guess, because I came from like everybody hunted, like that was the family thing. That was like. You couldn't be at deer camp till you were 9, so like you would watch your older cousins go and do it, and there was camp initiations and all these things, and I just figured like that's how everybody got into it. And then since we've done this podcast, even like all of a sudden I'm like, okay, I was like, well, like was your dad a hunter? And I was like, well, no, it was actually my neighbor that got me involved, or this, and more and more are like. They didn't come from a hunting family.
A lot of times it's they marry into it.
Like or it was the neighbor that, maybe they like to fish or whatever, and then the neighbor was like, hey, you should try hunting or something like that. And so, but there definitely seems to be a bigger streak. And, I guess the question around that, and maybe to you, is like, do you think that can hook you faster because it is something different than like what your family kind of is just used to and just surrounding themselves with, and you're just kind of like, hey, I want to show that I can do something different than like what the family does? Or is it even an uphill battle because like you said, your mom was kind of anti-gun and your dad was not a hunter, and it was like all of a sudden you're out there doing this and they're like, hey, listen,
Yeah, so if I look back too, I had expressed some interest in fishing a little bit.
Sure.
I would fish the Olentangy River before like soccer practice.
Yeah.
And like Corey's his stepdad said, go throw some rooster tail. So we learned how to catch some smallmouth in high school. And then like we played paintball too. So that is sometimes.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, the ultimate predator, right?
Right, yeah.
So maybe it's something too that you like. There's like some sort of like primitive instinct that you're drawn to. And I've always liked to like spend time outside. Like maybe the kids that are like playing in creeks and, you know, playing army with sticks.
Yeah.
And they don't have the outdoor exposure. And then all of a sudden that hook comes in at midlife when you can make more moves, right? If you're 14, you can't drive.
You're stuck.
90% of the American public can't get to the woods.
Right.
You know, it's not out a lot of people's back.
It's not out the back, especially now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think the sports thing is always another one too. Like a lot of people that I look to from whether it was like football or soccer or whatever outside, they continue to look for that, you know, kind of after those sports pass, essentially. It's like they still want to be outside and they want to be doing things.
Want to challenge.
Yeah, they want to challenge on things, you know, and even the athletic mindset, we've talked about that before, is like, you know, we don't need to necessarily train for whitetail hunting. Like it's not really a thing, but we want to stay in good shape and we want to just, you know, be out there and feel good about ourselves when we got to walk 2 miles and up that ridge and over to the next one. We could do it if we need to.
It's just like, to me, it seems it's like mission driven. Like for me, I'm a very goal oriented person, and I'm like almost so get blinders on. It's like here's the goal. I'm gonna achieve this no matter what, and maybe paired with, or, whatever set of circumstances I found myself like in the outdoors, I was just like, so that became pretty quickly, I'm going to hunt and I'm going to bow hunt. I'm going to bow hunt the biggest, oldest buck that I can. And I mean, that snowballs over just, a matter of years into, okay, I have to buy land in the Midwest. I have to it escalates pretty quickly into a very, very high goal that like very few people can attain, frankly.
I mean, and I would say, especially in today's society, questionable of if it's a healthy goal.
Oh, sure. Well, with any goal, I mean, yeah, you can reach points where it's like, yeah, maybe not, but
yeah. So I think it's kind of just how you see that thing. And even your age of getting involved in that, like I just got involved in a bunch of the Pennsylvania Game Commission stuff with them trying to move this Saturday of gun season a week forward, further into November, which was shot down if anybody hasn't heard. And their reasoning is that they were really trying to appeal to that secondary school level and college level where most kids get out of hunting, right? There's a lapse there because of just, chasing girls or whatever. And then you got college and you're away from home and there's a lapse there. And sometimes people come back, but sometimes they don't, right? And so they were looking at that as to appeal that level of side of it. And ultimately, I think the time frame didn't make sense anyways. But for you to kind of hook yourself in that is kind of abnormal for most. It's usually younger, I would say, or even older than that, from a time frame to get hooked into something, passionate like hunting.
Yeah.
You still hunt with Corey and Gary?
So it's been a couple years since I hunted with Gary. I remember once I went to college, I felt like the invite was like kind of broken.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I started hunting public a good bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then I worked for Zoe's mom for a little bit to hunt that place too during college, which that was a good farm to get. And I didn't know what I was doing, but good area of Ohio, 200 entry killed on that road in mid 2000s. So yeah, Corey doesn't really hunt. I did actually recently extend the offer, like, hey man, we're going to do muzzleloader, deer camp. You want to come out? It's more, driving, walking, still hunting than it is sitting.
Yeah.
And he told me, you know what, man? Why don't you call me for scouting season? He's like, I'd rather just hike. So yeah, he just don't have the bug, quite like I do.
It's wild, man. It's hard to even describe, like, things happen, in life that come up and people find other things that they're passionate about or other things that just take time, especially in like having young families and stuff. But yeah, I think Jared and I always ask the question, what the heck would I do if I didn't do this stuff?
Well, like, it's not for everyone. Like, as much as like I'm obsessed with it and, it makes sense to me. I'm like, and I can't understand sometimes how like, what do you do? But it's just not for everybody. I see people that are all the time outdoorsmen, too. We walked yesterday with an equipped forester that was like, he's in the woods all the time. He identifies all the tree species and has some level of passion, at least to the point where he got a career, walking timber and wanted to. A big part of that is the wildlife habitat management and stuff. And no interest in the deer part. We literally yesterday we're walking through like 18-inch deep snow with like beds everywhere and big rubs and stuff, and like it's cool to see. It's like anywhere you could see a shed. And so he and I are trying to have a conversation about like here's what I want to do timber wise because of this deer hunting thing, and he's just like,
dude, I've experienced that. I had my county forester out one time, and I'm trying to convey to him, hey, like I kind of could use some cash flow, like, maybe roll this into a secondary piece or at least pitch it to my wife that lands a good purchase, trying all the things. And I called my buddy, I don't know if you follow him on Instagram, Native Landscapes.
Yeah.
So Larry, I was like, Larry, look, this is what the forester said. He goes, man, them guys just do not get it. They don't look at the woods with both the overall habitat eye and the deer hunter eye. They just don't.
They don't get it. Yeah, most of it is from a habitat standpoint or health of forest, right? Like that's where their mindset is driven. And most of the time when we call them, it's because of we want to improve that for deer hunting, right? It's essentially great. We want that, but it's because it's going to make this better. That's why I think like a guy like Ben Rising talks about people like, when they go in and do a cut or something, select cut, they never cut enough, right? It's just because that most people are conservative in that mindset. Same with a lot of the foresters aspect. They're like, okay, we're going to open up some canopy. We're going to do this. But it's like, it never is enough to achieve what you want from a deer hunting perspective.
Well, we had a fairly stark, and it wasn't like tents or anything, but he was like you know, he made a comment at one point about it. He's like, well, I kind of feel like, you know, whatever trees are growing here naturally, you know, he's like, you know, they're standing there for a reason. I believe they should stay there. And I just was like, I disagree.
You're like, I can't hear you over the chainsaw.
Yeah. I was like, dude, they're not doing any good to me standing. I was like, if it's not going to produce timber value or whitetail or, you know, wildlife value standing, it needs to be on the ground, you know, basically.
Interesting. So like, what was he, you know, like a tulip poplar
He came around on that. Yeah, some of the, tulip poplar specifically, and he just was going to be less aggressive than I would have liked to see from a deer hunting standpoint. You know, some of the cherries, he did agree generally. He's like, yeah, cherries and, you know, your red maples and stuff. Some of the red maples he wanted to leave too, just because it's like it's a nice looking tree, and I'm like, it's great. I was like, but it doesn't do it. The stump sprouts are more valuable to me.
You're like, listen, my access to this tree is dog shit. Like that is not going to produce any good hunting stand for me.
Pretty much. And to his credit, he was juggling, you know, he met with, so it's mom and dad's property, right? They own it. And I told Mom, I say, Mom, we're going to cut down any trees that, you know, and she's like sentimental about trees. Like, cause my grandpa, her dad planted some of those pine trees. That's the biggest point of contention. There's a pine tree, like 60-year-old white pine stand that I want desperately clear cut. You know what I mean? The trees they're just naturally dying off, pruning themselves and stuff. And so, and she just likes how they look, you know, and of course they're in the spot, like where, you know,
very visible.
Yeah. And so fortunately I didn't coach him at all. I just said, hey, you know, Michael was the guy's name. What do we think about those white pines? He's like, they have to go. He's like, there's no biological advantage to keeping those. He's like, there is actually a market right now. He's like, I know a guy that will come in and
You're
cut
like,
those.
Can you say that a little bit louder here?
So the compromise was, you know, to cut down 100 of those, I got to plant 5,200 saplings of, we're going to do everything from white oak and, you know, some red osier dogwood and some combination of stuff into the clear cut that's directly next to it as the compromise.
So shrub-based stuff and like actual hardwood tree stuff.
Yep.
Which I think makes sense.
Combination. But yeah, unfortunately they're open to, you know, I just want to get funded. I want to get funded through Equip so then I can bring in my own force. So Jed Coldwell does all of it. And so I texted Jed after and he's like, just get approved and we're going to do what we need to do. So
it's wild, man.
That was the move.
So you own some property personally? Yeah. You don't have to say where it's at, but you own some. And is that a recent purchase? You've had it for a while?
No, we've had that. Full disclosure, grandmother died. We rolled that cash into, Dad looked at it as an investment.
Yep.
Ground. He's like, why don't we do this? And super thankful we did. And yeah, it's small, but it's a place to hunt. Deer population's good.
And your dad's not a hunter. So
no, but he's a finance guy.
He's an investment guy.
Yeah. Has done, not day trading, but he's worked for the power company to learn a little bit about assets and everything like that. But yeah, we rolled it into a small ground, and it hunts big too, which is nice. And you know, kind of figured that mousetrap out at this point. But there's always stuff like I've got invasives I'm working on out there. Yep. I've got 2 C- level food plots that don't do well some years, and some years.
That's because we've had a drought every year, basically, for the last 2 or 3.
Yeah, got rid of some Amish neighbors, so quality's on the up.
There you go.
So yeah,
how'd you do that?
I don't know. It's sold a few times, and yeah, finally they're out and
sold them out.
Yeah,
we're in the thick of that. Like our stuff is constantly changing hands. We had some essentially an Amish group of developers came in and bought a large tract, like 2,500 acres.
It's like the craziest thing I've ever heard. Amish developers.
Yeah, that's what they are. Oh, dude. They all are. You know what I mean? Every one of their, I mean, not all Amish, but like in our area, every one of their like LLCs, it's all whitetail, this trophy, this or that. You know, every single one of them is buying 20s, 30s, 40s, you know, putting a feeder and a thing on it and flipping it back out and they want insane money. It blows my mind. So we're in the thick of that.
And how old are your kids?
My kids, I've got 3 under 5.
So not hunting age yet.
No, so I got one of those like cheap bear, like 15 pounders or 5 pounders.
Yeah.
Dude, we definitely slung some arrows at chipmunks and squirrels last year. I count it. Like that counts.
Yeah, that absolutely counts.
Dude, I set him up. I put even some corn on the ground. We were launching because I got the recurve, so I'm out there trying to shoot.
Yeah, you're shooting too.
Yeah, dude, we had a blast. I think he went out probably 3 times in the evening. Like, let's go back and sit on the cooler.
Oh, that's cool.
Dude, 10 out of 10 experience. He's big into the fishing, so I can't complain.
Yeah. Well, and that'll be the transition point for him. And yeah, it's hard. I mean, the kids side of things. So that's why I asked about like that property side, because I've got 28 up here, and like I don't hunt it, but it's like their number one place to hunt, right? Both of them killed their biggest bucks this year in Pennsylvania on there. And, you know, it's cool because I have my hands on it, but like I feel zero pressure to hunt it at all. Mm-hmm. I'm just like, it's literally there for them. And then if my wife wants to hunt it, other than that, it's like, it's a sanctuary basically in my mind.
Yeah. And there's years I don't hunt it. Like I get on something or just like kind of obsessed with the big woods. And like, you know, if you said my random chance to shoot a booner, it might not be on that piece, the private piece. It just might not.
Yeah. Well, it's cool though. I mean, it's still yours. I mean, that feeling of having your own dirt and just knowing that you can do whatever you want to it. And at some point as the kids get older, like that'll be a no-brainer for them just to like have their place to go and do stuff. Cause yeah, that's what my dad is a big hunter and was a big hunter. That's who got me involved, you know, but he talked to my kids about it and was like, hey, you realize like your dad didn't have this. Like it was permission ground or it was public. Like that's all we had. And now they've got multiple farms that they can kind of go and do whatever you want to trap, you want to hunt, you just want to shoot, great, go do it. And he was like, you just have to realize like that's not normal, right? And it's a weird thing, you know, to the fine line of like how you said about getting into having that success in your initial hunt, but not having so much success to where you're like, well, this is easy. I can just I go out and I kill a deer every time type of thing. And I messed up with that on the kids, I think early because I was so excited about it. I'm like, I have to tee them up. Like I'm going to take them into like it's almost a guarantee, like a shot opportunity at least. And then quickly it's like I could see interest starting to fall a little bit. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Like we're killing it out there. Like we go out and then it's like, well, duh, like, dude, you didn't have that success growing up. You missed all the time. You blew deer out. You messed up on turkeys. And then all of a sudden it painted the picture of like, you got to make it hard enough that they still have success. They see deer, they see turkeys, they hear turkeys, whatever, but it's not a guarantee harvest every time.
Yeah.
Because that's what busts, you know, the interest level, I think, down the tubes really quick.
Such a sweet spot. It
is. It's a fine line, man. Like extremely fine line. Even still like dancing on it. Like, I don't know, you know, because like, so for instance, like my kids went from, I think it was 2 or 3 years in a row that like we go out to a turkey blind, have decoys out, either first day of the season or first day of the youth season. I'd call Bert in and I would basically be like, if they were both hunting with me, I'm like, hey, 1, 2, 3, you both shoot. Great. And they were cool with it. They're like, hey, we both killed it. And we did that for 3 years. And then I was like, okay, no blinds, no decoys. We're going to run and gun. Cause that's how I grew up hunting. It was like birds over there. You went over there. Birds over here. You go over there. And then they've missed. They haven't killed a bird since, like for 2 seasons. But I think it's been a blast, and it seems like they're having more fun because I'm like, we got to go, and you know, we're running across the field, and then we set up, and like he gets behind us, and we got to position this way. But now it's like, okay, hopefully that challenge in them getting to understand that at some point they have success again. So yeah, it's a fine line, man. I don't know how you know, I don't know if there is a right or wrong. I think a lot of it's probably down to the kid level of how interested they are in it. But at least from an adult standpoint or a mentor standpoint, you got to try to not just hand it to them on a silver platter. Yeah. I think that's the one lesson that I can say universally, like that doesn't work.
The HUNTR Podcast is brought to you by Predator Camo.
Man, this one feels good, right? I know people have been looking at this picture over your shoulder for a while now. I think that was 2018, but we just, over the last, how many years, keep coming back to Predator Camo because it's been so damn good for us.
No doubt. I think we bought our first set off of Jen at the Archer Trade Show almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And Jen's still with the company, and the patterns have only improved since then. They actually were recently acquired within the past couple of years. We've had a chance this past year to go and meet with new ownership, talk about redesigning a lot of the old lines, plans for new patterns, all of the above. So really excited about what's to come, not only this coming year, but in years to come. There's a lot of good stuff coming from Predator.
Yeah, and I mean, for us, it's always been going back to that breakup pattern, right? That's the historic look, whether you're talking about the spring greens or brown deceptions or fall grays. Yeah. I mean, that breakup is really what's been so powerful for us in a tree stand. And right now, they're letting anyone use the code HUNTR on the Predator Camo website and get 20% off any of the lines, including all the new stuff that dropped here in July.
Be the Predator. Are you guys starting to tip the toe and turkey hunting or deer hunting? Or
so I think we'll go turkey listening.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually,
how old again? One more time.
My son's 5. My daughter's 3. Like, she's not ready. I got to carry her. Cool story. We were blood trailing for a buddy of mine. I took the kids, and we find like 130 class side shed.
Really?
My son like walked up on it. Like, wow, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, like I said, he's got a little bit of the bug.
Just likes to be outdoors and stuff.
And he'll fish for like easily like hour and a half, even if it's not great.
Yeah.
And we do a little bit of volume fishing for bluegills, and then he's like, dude, I want to catch a bass. I'm like, all right, we'll set you up a little different.
That's always a good mindset.
I don't know if there is I'm sure they're out there, kids that are 5 to 10 years old that are like love to deer hunt kind of a thing, but I don't know if that's just something that develops like later on. Because when I was that age, like I wasn't obsessed with deer hunting by any. I liked going spotting with my uncle, but I was probably way more interested in trapping came first for me. It took a while to develop into like a deer hunting interest, because that's high level stuff, man.
I think I've always liked deer. I like the deer camp atmosphere, to like your point of like what kind of hooked it for me. Like for me, it was deer camp because I went there before I could even hunt. Like I was there at 9 years old and just like, would sit with my dad and like I'd put on drives at 9 years old, like just walk around the woods, like not knowing where I was. And they'd be like, you're going the wrong way, And so I think that side of it brought it in. I mean, I was always like whatever season it was is what I did. If it was turkey season, I hunted turkeys. If it was small game, I was out hunting grouse or whatever. Like I would always hunt whatever season it was. But I think I still favored the deer season side of things, and that's because I got into bow hunting when I was 13. So like that side of it, and it was because like my dad was a bow hunter, but nobody else really in our family was. So I kind of looked at it like that's like it. That's the pinnacle. Right, if you want to be like a deer hunter, you gotta shoot. You gotta be a bow hunter too, and so that's really what drug me in there. Not that I did. I mean, I killed a pile of deer with guns, but that always was. I think mainly because I got to start hunting earlier. It was like October 1st or whatever. I was out bow hunting, and everybody else was like, "Man, we gotta wait till Thanksgiving to go out and hunt." I'm like, hunting for 6 weeks.
When you go on trips and stuff like that, does your 5-year-old son is the oldest? Yeah. Does he he's like, where's dad at? Like, does he interested in when you come back, seeing what you got or?
Oh yeah. Like, and they get it. They know, like, ever since he was born, I've done some media trips, and obviously some hunting aspects. So he gets it. Like, and he knows I've gone hunting, and he asked me in the fall, Dad, are you going to be here in the morning? Or are you going hunting? Or are you going to work? So yeah,
does he think you're going to like as work or like as a?
He knows to ask, Dad, are you doing fun work or are you going to the office?
Interesting.
Yeah, you're like, I wish I was going to do fun work today, but no, it's office.
Yeah. So he knows what's going on. Is he like interested? He's like, can I come with you some of these days?
I think so. Like we talked about turkey hunting this year, which will be like turkey listening. Then let's go play in the creek.
Yep.
So
yeah, which is perfect.
Yeah,
that's what I do.
Yeah.
yeah. Same. Yeah.
Me too. I don't know what
out there for an hour, and then I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get trout fish.
Let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's the kid thing is tough because I've seen. I don't know. Was Ohio always 12 years old? Is that what it was to start in Ohio?
I don't know.
I don't know what it was. Like Pennsylvania, it was 12 for the longest time, right?
Was for sure.
There was no mentor hunting.
I don't know if Ohio. I could be wrong on this, but I don't know if Ohio had a minimum age. I think they were more like just
when you're ready.
When you're ready, but you had to be probably with a mentor.
It's interesting because a lot of people will tell you like they think when it was 12, like that anticipation build up and everything. Really, once people started hunting at 12, it was like they were in it, right? Because it was like especially if you grew up in a family. You watched everybody hunt and you just couldn't do it. It was like the thing you couldn't have, even though you wanted it so bad. And, at the same time, I think nowadays, like things have just changed with sports and travel leagues and all this other crazy stuff. It's like, I don't know if a kid can wait till 12 to hunt. And at that point, they may be too far deep into something else.
Is there an age now? Have you looked?
I have no idea.
In Ohio or in PA or what? How
I mean, PA is a mentor. I mean, Harlan shot his first doe with a crossbow at 5.
And did you, I assume you looked to see if there was a minimum age?
Yeah, they had to use my tag.
Okay.
At 7, they get their own tags.
But at any age, they can start mentor hunting.
It doesn't define any, yeah.
Okay.
Baby, I guess.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, so I guess there is no minimum age.
Baby.
Yeah, they leave that up to the parents, which is probably an issue. But yeah, Yeah, so Harlan was 5, and he had just turned 5, actually. But he had also watched his brother for 1, 2, 3 years. So, like, he would go hunt with us, but his brother was the hunter. He was the watcher.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that kind of was the equivalent to going to deer camp at 9 and not being able to hunt till you were 12. Is like he was there, like, experiencing it, but it was like, hey, man, you don't hunt because your brother's the hunter.
Yeah.
So maybe with that kind of mindset or something, they would have, you know, a little bit of anticipation and build up to being able to hunt. So
yeah, right on.
I don't know. But no, I don't think that they're, maybe some states have it, but not that I know of from an age standpoint.
Yeah. Byron, when did you pick up the camera?
Oh, that 10 years ago, let's just call that 2016-ish. All right, at this time, Instagram is new-ish. Photos are still a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And me and the guys are like, yeah, we're going to film our hunts. We were big fans of whitetail adrenaline. Let's film our hunts. You know, couple beers around a truck. Andy's under the hood because he went to mechanic school for a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, let's film our hunts. Let's be whitetail adrenaline. So cannonball into that, handy cams, running around the woods. Learned on iMovie. Figured out, bought the package for Final Cut Pro, like the 90-day trial.
Damn, that's pretty advanced.
Yeah, this is, well, and...
It's a trial, free trial.
Yeah,
free trial.
Yeah.
Serious for 90 days.
Yeah. Advanced trial, okay.
And started driving for Uber to make some extra money to get a laptop, a T5i.
Was that early
lenses.
Uber days?
Yeah, dude. It
like had to be, right?
2016-ish, plus or minus.
I feel like that was early.
Yeah.
I don't think I took an Uber till after, like, COVID.
Okay. Yeah, no, like, it was early Uber days, but I was like, here I'm about to blow several $100s, maybe even $1,000 or $2,000. And I was like, I really shouldn't do that just on a whim. So yeah, I was like, okay, how can I offset that cost?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I was making great money or anything like that at the time. So yeah, I drove for Uber.
I like the mindset, multiple revenue streams, man.
Yeah, and started learning on that. Spent a lot of times on YouTube University, if you will, learning how to edit. Like, obviously now the phones have a lot of plugins and aspects that make the video editing game easier, but I was always drawn to that. And so, like, I'd be watching guys that make, like, travel, B-rolly style videos. How do they edit? Because I always really liked Dylan Lenz's style from the Breaking Point. And he does some other stuff now, but that's who I was like, dude, I love that style. I can't storytell as good as, like, Whitetail Adrenaline, and that's also longer form, but, like, I really dug the high-paced, cool edits. And so that's what I was, like, trying to mirror for years, even to this day.
That's awesome.
You said the Whitetail Adrenaline. Those guys. How long have those guys been doing stuff?
I've got every one of their DVDs.
Was it 10 years ago?
Oh, it's probably been longer than that.
Yeah, probably 15.
Because we started buying them 15.
Gotta be.
I bet it was. Yeah,
we
I bet it was like
buying
2012-ish, probably. We had them in 16 when we were in the office.
I was gonna say we bought them
here.
like 8-10 years ago.
Yeah, but we bought a backlog.
And they were probably 3-4 seasons in at that point.
Easily.
Yeah.
Oh, Scheffler when I see him at Great American.
Yeah.
Shout out to those guys. They're awesome, though.
Yeah. I can remember Shay.
Oh, yeah.
Giving me the first sales pitch. We were walking down the aisle of the Deer and Turkey Expo, and they're in the back,
He's
right?
like, here's
now
a can of green
front.
beans.
Yeah.
But they're in the back.
Go hunt it.
And he's like, you guys hunt public land? I'm like, yeah, we started to. And then, like, he's like, here's our DVD. And, like, I didn't have disposable income at the time, so I didn't buy it. But looking back, dude, I love the early Whitetail Adrenaline days. When they're
my
like,
God, dude.
Scooping quarters to go to McDonald's so they can have one cheeseburger before they go hunt.
What was his cousin's name?
Jim.
Yeah, Jim. Oh, Jimbo.
A Jimmy Buck.
Jim band.
Yeah, dude. Those guys were great. I think Shay owns like a bar now or something, like or runs a bar somewhere at this point. But yeah, dude, those early day ones were fantastic because they were really cool. Like you said, those long form videos. Like, were we the guys that coined the Whitetail Adrenaline machine?
I'm taking that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was funny because we saw them at Great American Outdoor Show, I don't know, a couple years ago or whatever, and they're like, hey, you got to buy the new DVD, and we're like, we didn't even have a DVD player anymore, right? Like you just don't even have one. They're not even on my computer anymore. And so eventually we were like, yeah, we bought a Whitetail Adrenaline machine. And then they had one signed, I think last year or 2 years ago at Great American. They sold like 10 of them.
Nobody has DVD players anymore. Like, if you want to watch Whitetail Adrenaline, you got to buy one. I think now they do some like some stuff you can download from their website.
That's hilarious. But dude, those early ones were great because I mean, you had some of those like Western hunts, you had some of those bow hunts, and then when they would get into like their deer drive modes and stuff, you know, in Wisconsin or whatever, or Iowa, it was just like they're just entertaining. You know, you could just watch them. Like you said, it wasn't like a Heartland bow hunter journey story by any means, but it was, you know, you wanted to follow along because you're like, man, these guys they're in them. Like at some point it's going to come together. So yeah, I mean, probably still one of my favorite DVD sets of all time.
Did you ever end up, did you do anything with those guys, or I assume you've met them at a certain point?
Oh yeah. I've talked to Jared quite a few times.
Yeah.
Super guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and really so did you, that's when you picked up the camera and stuff like that, did you try to submit footage to them or be like, hey, we want to be part of your team, or did you just kind of start posting stuff on your own? Or
No, yeah, we just started posting stuff on our own, and like Curtis Zabel had a pretty big YouTube channel, and so we're like, okay, we can put our hunts on there, and that's what I thought the YouTube channel would be.
What channel was that?
Curtis Zabel, Behind the Bow.
Behind the Bow.
Okay.
Really good storytelling, really good videography. And then, like, I don't know, we had an epiphany maybe a year or two into this, like, no, the YouTube channel is more than just our hunts. So that's when I, like, kind of got a good springboard for making gear reviews. I hit the mobile hunting craze huge because, like, when we started, we were doing videos on, like, self-made, like, you know, ropes for your climbing sticks instead of the buckle straps. Nobody had aftermarket aids.
I've seen a lot of those, some of your reviews and stuff over the years, I think, you know, as we were looking at mobile setups, like you said.
So we would we were like taking straps, 1-inch webbing straps, putting duct tape on it to hold it open. And that was like one of our most popular videos for a while. It was like self-made aiders, and people were like, aiders? I'm like, yeah, you can't burn a stick to get 3 feet off the ground, guys.
That's hilarious.
So
dude.
Yeah, that like did help the channel, the brand, the aspect of things. And then I don't know, I got a phone call from my local bow shop, and I went over to this guy to set up a bow, and he was like, I'm like, yeah, I'm really into Andre DeQuisto and Dan Infalt, and he goes, Andre, I know that guy by name. His name's Mickey. He used to do a lot of testing for the climbers for Andre back in the day. And he took me to ATA that year. I met Cody Andre. It was XOP. Matt Klein was there during that time. Ended up working a show for XOP back in the day, and that was the catapult to do the media at a higher level, occasionally get some of these, like, I'll call them like little branded contracts. And
that's a big step, man. Yeah. I mean, you immediately, went from, hey, we're just doing this because it's fun and we like it and it's cool, to like, you stepped into the industry at that point.
Yes.
You know, and at that time, you know, and it still is, but like content was everything. And they were looking at that, you know, the branded contract. They were trying to find people to produce really good content for them from a brand standpoint. They were also, well, XOP and Lone Wolf, I don't know, but like a lot of those guys were still, that was still the heyday of paying big TV contracts. And that content wasn't really usable by the brand, right? It was just out there on network type stuff, but they didn't have anything for themselves to use on social media or to use on their website or to use on YouTube. And so that was a big avenue there in that 2018-19 time frame for sure.
Yeah, and it was mainly photography, right? Like you look at what Sitka did with just photographers.
It's huge.
That was kind of like the game right then, is if you were a good photographer back then, and Instagram didn't have the hidden algorithm or even the algorithm we have now. Yeah. It was just, if you had good photos, man, you were a leg up.
You were in.
A lot of those companies, I feel like, didn't have in-house photographers.
Like none of them did.
Or media people in general. Like the space was...
They paid everybody to do the media stuff. You know, and again, it was a lot of network-based stuff, and then they quickly realized, like, whatever, I need 30 pictures, you know, for my Facebook or for my Instagram, and I don't have 30 pictures. So that was a big lead-in to, I think, a lot of that stuff. Yeah. That's wild, man. It's you know, it's kind of funny, like, to look back on some of those evolution time periods that we see in the industry space, and because guys like, you know, like my background was as a wildlife biologist, right? The fact that I essentially worked my way and got into Cabela's at one point in time and then met enough people to come out of that and build an agency out of it, like that was our gateway for, you know, even the podcast side of things to be successful and have partners like we have in it. But like if I go back, like I was just a kid who loved deer hunting, And I was like, this is all I really want to do. And so to eventually find yourself like standing in an ATA or a SHOT Show or whatever and be like, you're in the industry and like you are doing things in this space. But it wasn't, unless you worked for a company full time, to kind of our entrepreneurial discussion, it was like you needed multiple revenue streams.
Yeah.
Because there was no, I won't say there was no way, but the odds of you being able to create like your own independent thing that could support you in the long haul was tough.
Yeah. And there was one point where I was like, man, maybe I can make the leap. And honestly, like looking back, maybe I should have, I don't know, look at the amount of dollars spent in the hunting space for video assets, photo assets. Dude, I could have been working in even just weddings or like other avenues where there's like millions and millions of billions more dollars spent.
Absolutely.
And yeah, but not as cool, not as fun, not as memorable. Now I kind of think a little bit more big picture. Like,
right.
I don't know. There's way more dollars to chase outside the hunting space.
Was that something that you were considering at some point? Was you like, I'd really like to be full-time in the hunting space?
At one point I was like, I'm going to quit this accounting job at some point, get a couple of these contracts to that next tier and make the jump. And I didn't have kids at the time. And I was like, man, I'm right on the edge. And Dave, my best friend, was like, yeah, look, you're only spending 10, 15 hours a week doing this stuff. Imagine if you were spending 50. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Like,
yeah, you think logically it makes sense. It's not that easy, though.
No.
Unfortunately.
And
if it was just a pure, like, put more time in and make more money, great. But, yeah you got to have the contracts to match up with it, and you've got to have, the job security in that space is not good at all.
Yeah.
Even from a partnership level, it's like we try to build whatever 2-3 year relationships and hope that we do a good enough job that they renew, but nothing's guaranteed. And so like if you build your entire lifestyle around that and your financial dependency for your family on that, I mean, I remember when I made the leap from Cabela's to my agency full time, it was the scariest moment of my life, and I think I had 2 kids at that time. Like I had a newborn and I had a 3-year-old essentially. And it was like, am I really doing this? Because I liked kind of having the cushion or security of my day job, but then every night I basically was working our agency job. And it was exhausting, not to mention I had 2 kids under 3. And so at some point it was like, you can't do this forever. You got to make the leap and hope that you've got enough solidified there that it's going to be a foundation that you can build on.
So what was that for you as you were kind of considering that? Like, was there a point that came where you're like, it's just not worth the risk? Or
I could never build up the contracts from like, let's call it 3 to 6 vendors that were worth $1 per hour is a good way to describe it. Like it might have been $2K, but it was like, dude, to fill this is going to be man hours. It just didn't make sense. Looking back, I probably should have done like a whole media company with maybe 20% the portfolio to hunting and just booked more weddings, booked more graduation photos. Like this was the time where photography was king.
Yeah.
So you felt like, and forgive me for not knowing, like you felt pretty accomplished from a media standpoint, like to be able to offer it as a service from photo, video, editing, production stuff. You have that under your belt.
Yeah, I felt very confident on the video side of things. I don't think I would want to be a wedding photographer, but the video side, I've shot 3 or 4 different wedding videos, under the table and stuff, and was growing and spent a lot of time learning and honing that craft versus those man hours are a little bit more dialed back, but I'm also applying those to more of e-commerce learning at this point. But yeah, I mean, at one point it was 30 to 50% my income, just kind of depending on the month. So you can start to grasp it. And I had no risk of, my wife had a good job.
Sure.
She was working full time then. She's not now.
Yeah, no kids at the time.
Yeah. So you could be like, man, maybe I could swing this. Even if I got to go, David started a lawn care company. Maybe I'm mow yards for Dave for $20,000 a year.
Figure out how to make it work.
And I'm still trying to piece that puzzle because like full disclosure, I don't trust corporate America.
No.
I've been into 2 meetings where they're like, yeah, we're going to assess your job for 6 weeks and maybe outsource. No, that meeting means you've got 6 weeks and we're going to tell you we're going to. So, yeah, like I'm much more entrepreneurial motivated, whether that be side hustle level or
is the finance sector something that you feel passionate about as well, like photography and stuff? Like, would you consider going into business for yourself in finance?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I would, because I think I have enough skills of like the analytics, the understanding of even just like excel in bookkeeping and discipline, customer service. I've done some of that kind of stuff. It's like, okay, I've got that skills, but then I've also got some creative juices. And that's kind of a rare combo at points. Like a lot of people that think creatively, like I look at my wedding photographer back in the day. She's terrible at business.
Yeah. Most are.
Yeah, most are. Most people don't have both sides. And I do have my weaknesses. Everybody
we all do.
does. Yeah. So that dream hasn't died to work for myself. But honestly, like at the end of the day.
You said has died or has not?
No, has not.
Okay.
I just like make good enough level money, X, and get in the woods 3 to 4 days a week and a lot of days in November. Like, it's not a hard goal. However, I solve that puzzle piece at this point is like,
how much is that get in the woods, paired also with, I'm sure family time is a big priority for you too. It's like, how much does that drive the career decisions? Is that like 100% of it? You're like, hey, everything I do work-wise is so that I can achieve these things. Or is it, do you still feel fairly career-driven, like in your finance sector and stuff like that?
No. Like I would say, like motivational-wise, like I would much rather work for myself for an hour than work for the man for that hour.
Part of that
how would you say, Jared, how much has ours pivoted? I would say mine's always been fairly, but it's, I've gone that direction too. I would say you've, what's the word? Leaned pretty hard into. At one time, it was like I couldn't get you into the woods, couldn't drag you into the woods.
And there's still periods of the year that are just
still gotta do what you got to do.
Yeah,
but I don't have to drag you as much anymore. I just put the date in the calendar. And now it's a priority.
Yeah, and it's a life priority. It's a comfortability. Like like I always joke with people and just say like I'm really bad working for people, and it wasn't like that I had like a disrespect for authority or anything like that. It's just that I'm always trying to like, find a new way or blaze a new trail. And when somebody wants me to just do what they want to do, it's a tough spot for me to find myself.
You're not employable. You value your freedom too much.
And so like, to the point of like
most entrepreneurs are not good employees.
Where I was restricted is that like when you're building businesses, especially if it's multiple revenue streams, like, dude, you're in the trench, especially when you have a family. That's what I was gonna say about corporate America is like, I just don't trust people enough to make sure that my family's taken care of. If the responsibility is going to be on someone, it's me. And like in corporate America, you can work your ass off and be fired in tomorrow. 2 weeks because some survey came in and they did an audit and they're like, we don't really need 3 people here, we only need 2. And you could be a great employee and you have no control over that, right? It's the same with stock market. Not that I'm saying don't diversify your investments, but I like land in that I know what it is, I control it, I can make it better, I can enjoy it in the time. Some CEO messes up in the stock market and I suffer zero control over that, right? Depending on where it is. But when you're in those spots of like, for me, it was kind of 1, the kids getting older, 2, businesses for multiple revenue streams getting established to where I'm like, I'm 41 years old. I'm like, hey, life's short. Like I need
freedom to be able
I need
to
to start just enjoying. Like I just interviewed somebody the other day for a job position. I was like, I work to enjoy my life outside of work. I don't live to work. And that's tough because you spend a lot of time working. We all do, right? Whether it's an 8 to 5 or it's an entrepreneur position, whatever. It's like, I don't want to live to work. I want to work to live.
And that doesn't necessarily mean just do jobs that you hate. Like we still are intentional about trying to like forge careers in areas that we're passionate about and enjoy, but ultimately like, and at the highest level, allow us to, like you said, work to live.
And I encourage, we've had conversations with listeners, not that I thought that it would resonate that way, but it's like, if you wake up every morning and you got to go to a job for 8 hours that you absolutely hate, man, I encourage you to figure out how to change that. I'm not saying like just quit your job when you have financial responsibilities or family responsibilities. I'm saying figure out something that hones your skills to maybe something you might enjoy better. Like if you hate waking up in the morning and going to this job for 8 hours, like, I don't know, look at continuing education in the evening to get a degree in something better, or the trades or real estate or whatever it might be, to free yourself. Because if you spend 8 hours a day, 5 days a week in something you hate, like I can't imagine you like your life.
Yeah. Well, and you're in a good spot. I mean, would you say you enjoy finance to some level? Like
I enjoy my day job. Like I don't.
It's tolerable.
You're not waking up and like, oh my God, not again type of thing.
Right. Yeah. And you're getting what you want out of it in terms of to be able to it provides income and flexibility to hunt and spend time with family and stuff. So it's like, it's great. And it's like, did you always need people with expertise in finance. So it's not like, I mean, even if you were to lose this job at some point or decide to step away from it, you could go somewhere else and start.
And you still have side gigs, right? Other revenue, which is cool because that's the number one. It's any extra finances that come from that are a great benefit to the family and to your personal goals. But it also gives you other things to know that this funds those, right? And that's how I looked at it for a long time. Is like, I was buried in the marketing stuff, and I liked it because I was in the space. But also, it's tough. You're essentially working for 20 different clients or whatever it might be. But those successes were able to fund things like this podcast and stuff like that out of the gate.
HUNTR Podcast is brought to you by DeerGro.
Man, hard to believe, but DeerGro has been the sponsor that's been there since the beginning of the HUNTR Podcast. Back in 2021, I think that they were the only partner that we had, but it's such a cornerstone brand and set of products for our food plot strategy throughout the year.
No doubt. And it seems like we used to have an off season, but not so much anymore. It's like when the hunting season ends, it really rolls right into food plot season, habitat projects, all of the above. And the Plot Start and Plot Boost have been there since the very beginning. That's a cornerstone for all of our plots. The Plot Start goes on at the beginning, Plot Boost goes on midway through. And since they came out with all of the fertilizers, that gets mixed in with the Plot Boost application as well. And I can't believe the results that we've been getting out of that.
Yeah, it's been awesome. Like I said, it's all the work now that really produces the results in the fall. So right now, anyone listening to HUNTR Podcast can use code HUNTR, HUNTR, for 15% off any of the products at DeerGro.com.
Better food plots, bigger deer. I do think, everybody's in a little bit different situation, but I think it was probably a smart choice to not go full in on, and maybe it wasn't as much of a decision at that time as it was like, hey, just, we couldn't get the sponsorships to line up kind of a thing. But I mean, Jeremy and I could have the decision of is this something we would want to do full time? And I'm like, I just don't think so. I've seen enough people go through that situation where it's like it becomes your sole source of income, which is pressure.
Yeah.
It's pressure. I'm like, okay, so it already has some pressure. You know what I mean? We put on ourselves eventually to just hey, let's do this once a week. Okay, there's some pressure, some level of commitment there. Okay, there's there's an audience now. We have some obligation. Okay, now there's some sponsors, partners that pay us to promote products on this show here. Okay, now we have a responsibility to those people there and stuff. And so it's all great. It's all welcomed. It's stuff that we enjoy, and it's cool to see how it's grown. But it's like at what point do you say I don't want any more pressure on it? And I think going full time with that would be certainly.
I also somewhat fear hunting's this thing I love.
Oh, dude,
100%.
And
dude, that was at the core of when we did. Even to start the thing, we're like, do we want to even do anything that could?
I don't want it to be work.
Yeah, you love hunting,
yeah. I love the freedom of it. I love being able to do. It's one of the reasons that we haven't really pursued the making as much hunting films, because I'm like, dude, I just love not having that camera there, whether it's with the kids or just me or whatever. There's no pressure to boy, if I don't get this hunt on film, I might as well not shoot the deer. No, I'm just gonna kill the deer.
Yeah, I've never.
we weren't gonna make that.
There are people though, a lot of them,
dude.
A lot of people, there's guys that'll be like, I missed 10 opportunities because low light conditions, or I was moving the camera and I spooked them, and I'm like,
your job sucks.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. And we know guys that, and it's no offense to them, but they're literally just out there killing deer to fill episodes. And there was, God, I don't know who it was. Maybe it might have been Ranella, honestly. I get some of them mixed up nowadays, but somebody was basically going through and talking about, the TV show aspect of things where
it wasn't Ranella. It was
you
mentioned the guy all the time. It was Whitetail Diaries or something, Winchester Diaries or something.
Is that what
it was? The older guy that shot deer with pistols.
No, different. This is different. The guy basically, somebody recently was talking about hunting shows and basically saying, if I look under a microscope per se at these hunting shows, and I'm like, okay, they're filming 13 episodes, which means they're likely going out and killing 13 animals a season. Is there a point of that is, essentially abusing the resource? Do they need to go out there and kill 13 deer themselves? Or do they need to go out there and kill 6 elk and 7 whitetail themselves? It's a good question, right? Because in my mind, if I look at this year, I killed an elk. Both boys killed a buck, and Carter also shot a doe. My freezer's full. I could have went out and shot something late season. I had no desire. I don't need to.
Well, dude, there's that side of it that we can acknowledge. There's also, dude, almost every one of them to some level, I say them, but like, people who produce hunting content, or especially TV shows where you have the 13 episode format. I mean, every single one of them has, they feel an obligation to film 13 episodes and to meet sponsor requirements.
They have to. That's their financial livelihood.
Greg Ritz thing the other day, the crossbow thing there. Not saying the guy doesn't like to hunt with a crossbow, but like, he's got a sponsor obligation to shoot a deer with a crossbow from time to time. You know what I mean? And they're not hiding that necessarily. They talk about it openly, but it is to have those discussions. It's interesting. We're like, ooh, I'm glad. I'm just glad I'm not in that.
I don't think I've ever necessarily looked at the episode.
We are going to circle back on that too.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever looked at the episodic piece and said or thought like, boy, you know what? That guy is kind of selfish, right? Or is maybe taking.
Thought that, or
no, I haven't until recently, till that was pointed out. Because we've had guys.
Are they doing?
We've had guys walk in here with 13 racks. Remember, in a big bundle, lay it down, and we're like, for what? Like literally, it was.
Who was?
Jeremiah.
Oh, okay, yeah. See, and I wouldn't say that was out of selfishness. That was out of obligation to partners.
Yeah.
And
where's the fine line there?
Well, you just talk to somebody and understand their motivation. You know what I mean? And everybody's got their own convictions.
But like, I mean, let's say from just a hunter perspective, like us as a community, is that selfish to go out there and smash 13 of them?
Like you said, I don't know many people that are consuming.
They for sure aren't.
That and I'm not. Deer.
I mean, they probably are giving them to hunters, sharing the harvest. Like I'm sure they're going to a great. But I'm just saying, from a standpoint of like, does a person need to go out there and kill 13 animals a year? I
don't know. Is it our place to judge? I don't know.
I mean, if there's fellow hunters that are struggling to find a place to hunt to kill a deer to put in their freezer.
So who's in the wrong there? Who's?
I would say the people that are doing it purely to appease sponsor goals and production goals or whatever.
Right. Because big buck photos get the most likes, the most shares.
They have to. It's not like they're going out and killing 10 does.
Yeah.
Well, most of those guys aren't shooting that many big bucks. A lot of them they just shoot a pile of bucks.
A pile of bucks.
Which I've got my own issue with.
Yeah. But it is definitely like financial driven.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm saying. Is like if we look at the fact that commercialization of wildlife is illegal, that's about as close as you get, right?
The frustration should be towards the industry or that machine. They are participating, fine, but I don't think most of those. I've never met somebody that was like, I feel like to satisfy my own need, like wants, is I got to go kill 13 animals. Almost a high percentage of them would be like, it's just my contractual obligations. Like that's what we do.
So you're blaming the industry on that, though.
I would lean more on that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting thing because I just look at like,
or just pressure, like you said, social media. You know, because maybe some people do feel.
Are you producing your own hunts right now?
Yeah.
How many you produce a year? You think?
Dude, I'm like. We're combining footage where
right.
My buddy shot this buck. I've got good footage of this hunt. We can combine these together and make a 25-minute video that's probably worth a damn.
So that's what I'm looking at is like, clearly TV doesn't have the power that it used to have, right? Which was the 13-episode machine, right? So like, could you not just accomplish the same goal and do 4 really good videos on YouTube or whatever?
Yeah. But the real machine, the TikToks, like those do better when you got those antlers in there.
I mean, I'm not disagreeing that the industry is a big factor in it because
I hear what you're saying too.
Industry wants product placement. Product placement requires content. If it's not a kill, like, is it good enough content to use? I would argue yes, but most of those guys would say no. I need a beginning, a middle, an end type of thing.
The metrics show that the kills generally do really good. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
A super awesome tip may do really well, or a cool field photo does really well. Like, there are many aspects.
People want to see stuff get killed.
Yeah.
You're watching a hunting film.
Yeah.
Like, you want to see it die. So I think that is. It's just, I don't know. There's definitely an underlying thing with the struggles that us as a community are facing. Access being one.
Dude, I don't know. I mean, we don't have to go all the way down this road here today, but like from the
whole point.
The content consumption thing here is like, I don't even know, dude. Like you and I have said a few times, it's like, and we've rattled some off today. Your whitetail adrenalines. Midwest whitetail is a big for Jeremy and I. There's been tons of them along the way there. It's kind of sad to say, but I'm like, dude, I tune in, I'll watch some of Winky's updates, and you don't kill anything, but because I just like, it's like
you're talking about like from a content consistency of who you follow.
From what we watch now, like what do people watch?
I would agree. I usually find random stuff or just like not looking, whatever. I'm looking through my page or whatever. I'm like, oh, that's a cool video. It might be from 6 months ago. I just never watched it.
Honestly, anymore, YouTube's just showing me the short form stuff. They just want me to watch.
They are pushing that down
YouTube Shorts, and
well, everything adopted the TikTok style model.
Yeah, it's like Instagram Reels. We got to beat TikTok. Now YouTube's like our shorts have, and you're not, right? That's why TikTok is built like it is. It was a unique platform for that. YouTube will eventually come off of that, and they'll go back to their long form stuff.
I saw something about the long form builds the army of 300.
Yep.
Versus the, millions of views that really don't even care about what you do. And
they may never watch anything you do again.
Yeah. And the same thing's true like on the audio side for somebody to, I'll call it convert. The general consumer probably has their handful of podcasts that their week allows them to kind of dip and dive. And maybe they're feeling sports one day. Maybe they're feeling something the other.
Yep.
But to convert somebody over, it's a lot.
That's why we like talk about, our audience is, I would say, narrow and deep, right? It's not, we're not a meat eater from an audience standpoint because we're very focused around, deer hunting, deer
and land management.
Yeah, that's it, right? But it's deep. Like the guys who are in that space, they're spending a lot of money or they're extremely committed to it, whether they're on public land or private land. They're dedicated around bow hunting, they're dedicated around gear, and they think about it all year long. Narrow, deep.
And for that reason, we'll never have a mainstream level size audience. It's just, it doesn't appeal to a lot of people. It's interesting to consider. I've heard, some guys say well, I've even seen comments that say we're not relatable, right?
Oh yeah.
And
a lot of them.
I take that as a huge compliment. I'm like, I'm trying my very best not to be relatable, to exceed and excel and to achieve at the highest level.
The general hunting audience. Yeah.
Yeah. Crossbow hunters for the most part.
Yeah. Which it's funny. I made that post the other day that was, I think it was from Dan Schmidt at Deer and Deer Hunting, but he basically had the crossbow, which was crazy.
What was that?
66% of archery hunters in Pennsylvania are crossbow hunters.
We're like 72.
Oh yeah. It's higher in Ohio.
Well, Ohio didn't participate in that survey, go figure.
Okay.
Oh, you can find it on the DNR. I do every year.
It's nuts, right? It's an extreme amount, and it's like
70%, right?
It's 71, 72 at this point.
Yeah.
It's trying to find it's the correlations, and it's not rocket science, right? So we just came through this whole thing of Pennsylvania wants to move the gun season up a week because basically gun season participation is down. It's not down because of seasonal timing. It's down because 66% of the archery hunters, over 250,000 archery hunters are crossbow hunters. So they have 6 weeks to hunt. A lot of them are successful in that 6 weeks. And the ones who aren't just don't feel the pressure to be out on opening day necessarily or the second day, especially if the weather's not good. Because they're like, I've been hunting for 6 weeks. Wife probably wants to do something else this weekend, get ready for Christmas, whatever it might be. And so from it seems like I'm looking at this, I'm like, you guys see this correlation, right? Decrease in gun participation literally is correlated with the increase in crossbow participation. It's a no-brainer. And they're either ignoring it or they're oblivious to it. And I hope they're just ignoring it, because if you're oblivious to it, then you're in the wrong position for where you're supposed to be.
I think they're oblivious to it. I think that's probably, yeah.
It's
Dude,
wild,
we just see, it's honestly, it's depressing, frankly. You know what I mean? Almost to the point where I hate to bring it up, but it's just we just see a continual bombardment of moronic legislation proposals and across the country. Every state is
because they're flailing. They are failing, and then they're flailing in response to that. They see hunter numbers dropping, and they hear about access issues, and they're like, what do we do? I thought we gave so much opportunity. It doesn't make any sense. And then they just start figuring out, well, let's in Illinois, it's let's increase gun seasons. That'll help.
Yeah.
No, that's not gonna help. It's gonna, all of a sudden, access is gonna get worse because guys are gonna be like, boy, a longer gun season means I need more land to protect the deer I want to protect.
You're right. They don't understand. They don't know. They're
no idea.
And the more, the equip conversation was, case in point as it relates to the forestry component. But we talked to a lot of these deer program managers and stuff, and they're like, These freaking they don't know. They don't understand the motivations of like the hunting public.
It's the hunting dynamic that they just are. Anybody can manage wildlife. It's easy. You understand? So keep the population in check, good buck to doe ratio, healthy age structure.
Yeah.
Keeping the people of that, the stakeholders of that, it's a damn near impossible job. But when you don't understand the priority stakeholder, which is the hunter,
you're
in trouble.
Why don't you take the wheel on this one here a little bit? Like, it was more recently we found some of your channel and stuff from like you raising concerns about
the Indiana drone was the one that I saw.
What about the Ohio cell cam outfitter?
Yep.
Oh yes,
that one.
Yeah.
That one felt good too because that guy shut his webpage down.
Yeah.
Did he?
But yeah, by like noon.
Wow.
So for the listening audience who didn't catch it,
I love that post. You're just like, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah. You gotta, listen,
there were some people that defended it though. They're like, oh well, it's he's doing. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So what was the nature of the page?
So to paint the picture, I found this. A couple people sent it to me because I've called out some cell cam stuff in the past, and the individual had posted on a couple Ohio hunting pages this new businessy plan that he would buy the camera, sell you the rights to the cell cam, and then you took ownership over it, basically like reimbursing him for his purchase, and he was, selling out public land spots across Ohio.
And this guy was going to go run them for these people?
Yeah, the page was dirty. Like he was definitely painting this like mystery of
who was it? Was his name listed on there?
I'd have to go through my screen grabs.
Okay.
But this got sent to me, and I was like, well, this is horseshit.
Clearly.
Yeah, like this guy is literally like exposing the resource, using technology to do so, and looking big picture, like other players could do this same dirty job.
Oh, absolutely.
So I made a post like, you're a piece of shit if you sell pins on public land via your cell cams, across. And like his title of his webpage was "Skip the Scouting."
I remember that.
Spots
right.
given. It's like, dude, like
cut every freaking corner possible.
Yeah, like.
And do you know how that was packaged? Like,
so
how much did it cost, and what did you get?
Yeah, I never got to the checkout menu area, but like he had 4 or 5 listings there with pictures. I don't know if those are from those.
It was like a picture of a buck, and then it'd be like, you can buy this pin.
You can buy this pin.
Okay.
And then there was an exchange of money for that cell cam. Then you owned it, and it was, and he was trying to pass it off as not dirty, but dude, you were trying to squeeze a buck. You had figured out a system.
You were monetizing the resource on public land.
And think if all the good public land hunters just started auctioning off their various bucks. Because, like, dude, in a given year, you can only be so many places at one time.
For sure.
And there's plenty of racked bucks that you may get and not be able to chase just due to you're tagged out, you're spending time in a different county, blah, blah, blah. But, yeah, called him out, and by noon, he had shut down the website because of all the backlash and, like, clearly a lot of people in that post just like, dude, way to call this out. Way to, like, I don't know, be a voice, if you will. And I thought it might get 5,000-10,000 views. I think it went 25,000. And yeah, like.
I'm surprised it wasn't more than that, honestly.
And it might have been after a few days. Like, I didn't really, like, check.
Sure.
But, like, it did. It felt good. It felt good to get guys like, I don't know, Skip sharing it, Andy May.
Yeah.
Andy May's been a huge, like, supporter of mine for like
That's
keep
awesome.
hunting the thing, and like when a guy like that has your back, like you're like, okay, like what I'm saying is not ridiculous.
No, it's resonating.
Yeah. So, but it does take some stones sometimes to make that post, because I sat on it for about 2 days. I was like, man, should I do this? And then I was in the fired up mood and did it.
Yeah, because there is a mindset. We're all human, right? So there's a mindset of like, if I spotlight this and I call it like it is, and people get behind it, like this dude's business is done. Right, it's over. But ultimately, when you're, in this case especially, you're monetizing a public resource on public land, like it's going to have more detrimental effects if you don't call it out to the greater good of people.
I mean, it's not illegal, right? Like, not.
No, and I mean that's that. If there were, and I don't know who they were. Like I had people, because I think we shared it, and I had people comment to me like, I don't see what's wrong with this, da 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 da, and I'm like, you have to, you can't look at it from the surface. The surface is it isn't legal. He's placing a camera and basically sharing intel with someone. He's getting paid for it, which I think is a gray area. I don't know. Maybe there is a law or there isn't a law on that. But from a morality standpoint, it's like, dude, like you're essentially, one, you're basically taking woodsmanship and scouting even further into the toilet, and it's already down there pretty deep at this point. Because you could just say, hey, yeah, here's the pin, here's the camera, you get it on your phone now, and like have at it. Like go sit the spot, and those deer are there. Did no scouting, did no nothing, just navigate to it.
Yeah.
And then clearly that's going to affect anybody who has put the time in on that public land and who has been working, who has been trying to pattern those deer. That essentially now, and who knows, like we don't know what the business decision was, but what if he sold that same pin to 10 other people? And now there's 10 people hunting the same camera, the same deer.
Or 10 other guys that day said, oh, I could do that business and gain myself an extra 10, 15 grand a year.
It's a quick way to get cell cameras banned in Ohio.
Well, and a lot of guys brought that up, and a couple things there is out west, they're ahead of this so much. Like there are mountains out there on public land, you can't run a guide service of any sort.
Yeah.
And obviously they're much more anti-technology out west. We don't need to go down that rabbit hole. But yeah, like because we're in the east of the Mississippi, public land is a very limited resource. I don't care, Ohio does have some bigger national state forests, blah, blah, blah. But dude, like it is limited.
Yeah. And I would assume, on the other side, like if this guy's business was, and I don't know how he would did it, but if he was putting these on private land and selling them, wouldn't have been an issue?
No, I don't think I.
Morality wise, probably still, because I'm like, yeah, come on, dude, like still not scouting it, but whatever, like it's private land at that point. It's the fact that it was public.
Yeah, it was public. The dirtiness of like you're now the owner of the cell cam. Like, it definitely made you feel ick when you went to the website, when you read the guy's post.
Sure.
Like,
I'd like to know his intentions. Like, is this guy like
I'm sure it was just a
passionate deer hunter? Or is he just like, how do you find this area? Like, what brought him to a point where he was like, willing to sell?
I have my ways with outfitters, obviously, but I mean, they're just trying to figure out how to monetize the resource.
Yeah,
I assume it would have been a substantial amount of money. Like, it's not a small amount of work to go out on public land and find a big deer.
It could add up quick. That's why I wouldn't be surprised if his master plan would have been to sell the same camera to multiple people.
Well, yeah, and even then, what's he selling? $3 to $5 grand means a lot to some people, especially towards the tail end of the year when Christmas. Like, even if it was just small scale,
I don't think that's sustainable though. Like, I think if he's selling it to multiple people, they're going to find out pretty quick. Like, you run into somebody, you're like, oh, you just have a short conversation. Oh, yeah, some guy tipped me off to.
Yeah,
but if he's running them weekly, like, hey, I got these guys in from North Carolina for the first week in November. Now I got guys from Michigan for the second week in November.
Well, it's public land, though. He can't set a time frame on it.
No, but his, like, I don't know.
The camera feed.
Who knows? Yeah, like.
I mean, also, it's kind of like the Crossbow thing. Like, you run into another guy out there, you're gonna really say that some dude like hung this camera for you and you're feeding? No, dude, you're gonna be like, yeah, I've been out here scouting this for since the summer and stuff. Right. You're not gonna admit that somebody planted a camera and like you're just hunting off of that intel.
Maybe not.
I would assume you're
but
not.
At a certain point, it's like, why are there so many guys in this area?
Dude, that's all depending on how many. Like it feels like.
Yeah, but I mean, if you have a pin to a camera, you're gonna be within 100 yards of it.
Yeah. I'm sure it would. Maybe he didn't think it through that far.
Maybe not. It does make me want. I mean, how much digging did you do on this guy individually?
There wasn't a ton of information
this business model in general.
I did go to his I did some digging on his personal page. There was some interesting stuff there as far as like seemed like a very godly individual.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, are you compensating for something else? Like. Now I find this very dirty.
Most are.
Yeah. Now you find this very dirty. I'm gonna start a business selling GPS pins and.
Well, you gotta. I do wonder. Like, was there? Because, dude, people all the time like there's no sense. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to grasping for an example of like things
you're trying to think. Was he really? Did he think it was malicious or not?
Yeah, or was he just kind of like, oh, I don't know. Like, I got pictures of these big deer. Like, I can't hunt them, so for whatever reason. So like,
I'm sure that's probably what it was.
That's how it started. I mean, we've all ran cameras and been A when we should have been at B or state other states. Like even here, like in one state, like I can't cover multiple counties all the time. Like it's just not feasible. I don't run cell cams. I went on one hunt related to a cell cam and said, no, this is not for me.
Yeah. I assume he probably was not doing it with the malicious mindset of it was gonna ruin other people's stuff.
Who knows? I mean, I don't want to make an assumption.
It's probably very level set of like, I can put cameras out there. I'm good at finding big deer, and other people don't have time to. And so, like, I'm just going to provide a service to them.
Right. Without
thinking of the deeper level, which is how that's going to affect people who are putting in the time to hunt and scout those areas, and just how, it's a public resource, right? The land itself and the wildlife on it. And you're now monetizing it, which probably, I would say at some point, if it ever had to go to court, would have violated a law.
Yeah.
Monetizing that stuff.
Well, that one's easily carried over, maybe more easily, like with the drone stuff. Have you?
Oh God,
nuts.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Nuts. I mean, is that happening out there? Like, that's not illegal either, right? Like, somebody could throw a drone up and find a deer and then sell a pin to that.
Yeah, I heard it.
They have been.
I'm sure. I know that has. Yeah. Why do you?
Not as organized. I mean, I've had people message me that they're like, hey, I've had a guy I've run into him on public land, and he offered to sell me a pin of where a big deer on the property was he found with a drone.
Just on foot on public land. I would assume like you could Facebook Marketplace or something. Probably right now you could
probably on Craigslist.
Look up and find a list.
That's probably what Craigslist is used for now. Finding deer with drones.
Yeah.
150 here. Message me. DM me. Yeah. So it definitely, directly, indirectly would have been Kentucky with the elk. Like, I know they weren't necessarily selling those, but they were flying drones, find the elk, and then send their client in to hunt them.
Well, I've heard of people in Kentucky, right? Opening week, if you will, those bean fields, you don't even need a thermal.
No.
So I had a buddy down there last year or the year before. Guy tried to sell him a pin.
Sure.
Like, he's out there just driving and flying. How many pins can I sell? And stopping in parking lots, like,
oh yeah,
trying to little cash handshakes.
Yeah, and it, so if you think about it, like, I don't think anybody that's probably a true deer hunter and loves deer hunting, they probably think that's cool and not malicious. Just they're not looking at the repercussions kind of downstream from it, of what that causes and how that, ultimately is like, there's people that will push technology to the edge. That's in any niche, right?
Yeah,
or any,
for sure,
whatever, any sport category, hobby, society, exactly. If the technology is available, they'll take it to the max, right?
No doubt.
And so this is, I think, our problem with the states is like there's no regulation or very little regulation on the technology because it's moving and evolving so fast. That's their excuse. But at the same time, it's like when you don't react to this technology being used inappropriately, by the time you do react, it's already evolved to the next level.
Yeah. What happened to companies like Blockbuster when they failed to adapt?
Went bankrupt.
Yeah. They even had a chance to buy Netflix.
Crazy.
But yeah, these states, I mean, if you're not going to pull levers when things are moving fast, you're going to be, Kodak cameras.
That's it. And look at where we're at now. That's why I think they're flailing and panicking is like Pennsylvania just had this huge, they were at the highest number of sold licenses was like 1,050,000. Honestly, I was surprised. The number last year was 834,000, which is way more people than I thought. I thought we were like 750 or something. So we're at 834,000. So we basically have lost, 200,000-ish hunters over 23 or 24 years, something like that. I mean, that's not what you want to see, but that attrition is probably less than some states are facing, I would assume. You still have, 834,000 hunters is a lot of people in the state hunting. You're never going to get back to 1 million hunters. You don't have a place to put them, first off. But you're never going to get back. That system, just, how society has changed is just not going to happen.
Look at this. This is interesting. I just Googled, is it illegal to sell deer locations in Pennsylvania? It says in Pennsylvania, it is generally, this is AI, right? So not the rule book. It is generally.
Pushing the technology.
It is generally, well, yeah, you can't even run a drone during, right?
No drones.
So outside.
Cell cam.
Outside of that, so regarding the cell cam, it says it is generally illegal to buy, sell, or barter game or wildlife, which includes selling specific known locations to live wild deer to hunters.
Interesting.
As this acts as a guide service for unlawful profit or facilitates unauthorized taking, selling or bartering shed antlers, or offering to do so is also prohibited.
It's a dicey thing, and Pennsylvania especially. I don't know about other states, but
we're gonna look at Ohio.
Steve Shirk. So Steve's taking a lot of shit because he's guiding and running 100+ cell cameras in Allegheny National Forest and surrounding places, and he's guiding hunters on public land.
Yeah.
And I know he, especially in the last 12 to 24 months, has taken some serious heat for there's a fine line there, man, for you doing that and taking people or sending people into those spots and what we're talking about here.
Yeah. Here's what it says in Ohio. It says selling deer locations, quote unquote, or scouting information while not explicitly listed as a sale of a physical part, meat, hides, etc., can be deemed illegal under rules against aiding in the unlawful taking of game or commercializing wildlife.
There you go.
Wow. Well, in most of these states too, let's dumb it down. Walkie-talkie communication.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we all knew that. Like as kids, you can't get on your radio and say it's coming.
Yeah.
And it seems like that's where that rule ended. Like it never translated to cell phones or drones.
Dude, I feel like that always was I ran into tons of people doing deer drives that were all on walkies. Back in when these did not exist. Yeah. And they were like, "Hey, we're over on this, logging road," or "I'm up on that." Like they were clearly communicating. Yeah. Like I assume, I don't know. Like maybe it wasn't a law back then, or it was. I don't know.
Oh, it was. It definitely was.
Yeah,
dude, guys got busted for that. Guys got busted for that for sure, for communicating, saying deer. I remember.
I'm pretty sure bear drives still do it all over the place for sure because you're 20 wide with guys.
And I don't know if it's species dependent. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. We looked it up in North Dakota and South Dakota. One of them was legal. One of them was not.
For a time, North Dakota was legal. I don't know if it still is or not, but South Dakota was illegal.
Yeah. Yeah. But I could radio and be like, "Hey, I see one. I'm going over this way," and it was legal at the time.
Right.
So,
well, in rewind, in the 90s, early 2000s, people having general hunting conversations could be like, "Oh yeah, I see the unfair chase aspect to me radioing. Hey, I've got a buck over here. It feels dirty.
Yeah, how about now, though? I get him on cell cam, and he's, right over here. And I'm like, should probably change stands.
Right.
I mean, that's where in Iowa, the line is leveled of, if you would move based on that information, it's illegal.
Yeah.
If you are in a stand, you get a picture, you move stands because you think you're going to put yourself in a better opportunity and you kill that deer, that's an illegal harvest.
And with all of these things, it comes down to an interpretation of the law. I think in Iowa it says something like you can't use essentially trail cameras to aid in your hunt, and so it would be the CO's prerogative to say, did this... And that's why I thought it was poorly worded, was because I'm like, dude, a picture of this deer a year ago is just as useful to me as a picture of him a week ago.
Yeah, I would disagree on that.
Would you?
Yeah. Just from I don't know, if you get a picture within a week, okay, he's on the hoof, he's alive.
In some cases, for sure.
If you're relying on the picture from a year ago, dude, he could have got hit by a car mid-June.
Sure.
That's fair. But a week ago is legal.
Yeah.
Well, see, I don't know. In my interpretation, it would be legal.
I think so.
That's another qualm I have with I don't know, the cell cam crowd is you ever ran a camera on a scrape? Yeah, they stick their head in them when it's dark. Let's go at October 1 through the 20th. Then what happens on the 27th after the rainstorm?
Yeah, they're going to come back.
Yeah, it's kind of I don't know. Yeah, so in general, my stance is I'm just anti-transmission.
It's an interesting thing. I mean, just even think of
sorry, say that point again there.
So people talk about the cell cam and it does feel dirty to get picked, go hunt.
Yeah.
Right.
And my other thought is, okay, you get pictures throughout the week, you're going hunting on Saturday. It's still kind of dirty not to be in the woods learning about deer.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden go to spot A because you got the cell cam pick, I don't know, a week ago, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, whatever it is.
Yeah. So the argument is saying, hey, cell cameras are unfair in that way?
I've kind of come to the transmission aspect is unfair.
I see.
The fact that you're not laying ground scent, being seen, visual. You walk in the woods, deer can learn about you. I really think that's at the core.
And you learn about deer.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the biggest, and we talk about it from people not killing does or targeting specific bucks is if you didn't have a cell cam, you'd have to put your ass in the seat a lot longer to harvest because you can't just be he's there every night, he's there every night, he's there every night. Dude, I'll go tonight and kill him.
If you took away cell cameras, I don't just call it at nationwide as far as deer hunting, I think in the first year or two, our success levels would decrease probably by A huge amount.
Oh yeah.
A huge amount.
Probably 30%.
Probably.
Think of how many.
Or you would start killing the deer unselectively, and maybe it wouldn't decrease 30%.
Sure.
See, I think the survival rate on, like, I'll call it the 3-year-old or the 120 class would just skyrocket.
Absolutely. No brainer.
Because you would be like, oh, Mountain A, like, I don't know if there is any 120s, but over here, if I've got a bunch of cell cams, like, I know there's 3 120 pluses.
And you're waiting for that deer because you know he's there. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you don't have that, like, even if you have a regular camera, you might check it every 3 days, every 5 days, every week, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. But, like, you're already steps behind by the time you check that thing.
Dude, they're a highly effective tool. Like, if cell cameras aren't killing deer for you, you don't know how to use cell cameras.
Yeah. No, that's a big one.
I went on one hunt with a cell cam, and I was this is when I was hard up for money, starting so I was like, I'll film for this web show. This guy, we didn't even buck hunt.
Yeah.
We went, he's like, hey, we need to film episodes. We need a couple doe kills to kind of help that, like, first opener episode. Mm-hmm. I said, yeah, I need money. Like, I'll film you today. So he's got multiple properties. So it affected where we steered the truck that morning, where we parked, because he said, hey, they're eating in that alfalfa, I think, from the angle of the camera. So let's park down at the second gate. So in fact, of where we parked, we got to the stand. We shifted that stand 90 degrees to give a better angle. Where were we looking at 7 a.m. when we heard a twig snap?
Straight down the pipe where they were coming from.
Yeah. Like, I was just like, holy shit, all this happened because of a text message. And I was like, this is dirty. Like, I'm out.
Yeah, I mean, dude, 100%. Like, dude, I don't know what the percentage is, but like a high percentage of decision making is based on trail camera information, and cell cams are what puts it on your, makes it readily available and accessible. It's a huge part without of hunting today.
Without time, without the aspect of being in the woods. Like, I think I did math one time, and it's like a cell cam is like 60,000% more effective than a regular camera 15 minutes down the road. And the math in that is like, okay.
Time.
15 minutes there, 15 minutes walk in, 15 minutes walk back, 15 minutes back home. So you did 60 minutes or whatever.
That's if you're checking it, like, in real time.
Yeah. So that's like a camera 15 minutes down the road versus a 1 second swipe to.
I mean, most of the time, I would say, even in peak season, and it's minimum 3 days, 4 days, every 4 days, checking an SD cam. Like, I'm not going out every day and checking my SD
Well, think about out-of-state cameras. Like, dude, we got cameras in Illinois right now.
Months.
It's like, dude, we probably wouldn't check those, but like 2-3 times a year.
Yeah. Or like even counties over. Like, I'm bouncing around the state. Like, I'm not even. Yeah. Heck, even same piece of public, I can't get on Mountain A and B in the same day unless I got all day.
No, if I go up in there and I drop a cell cam, it's for a purpose of, I know I'm not coming back up in here.
Yeah. I used to spend a lot of time, I'll call it the 10th through the 20th, going down to public.
Of November?
No, October. Going down to public, headlamp mode, before work, pulling cards.
Yeah.
Getting ready for that October 25th cold front.
Oh, yeah.
It's a very effective strategy. And obviously rut-wise. Like,
sure.
Okay, I know this mountain's got a little better odds.
Yep.
But yeah, it was one of those things that, like, I had to actually do that. I don't do that as much. Just, I'm like, well, probably shouldn't. Like,
yeah, just presence-wise.
Yeah, well, and I did go 1 year no cameras. I went Recurve for. Did I go all season? I went all season Recurve and no cameras, and like it was kind of like a little gut check. You think you know what you're doing, but like until I saw that first, like, I don't know, he might have been 120, 130, whatever.
But excitement too, right? Because you're like, I don't know what the hell's coming over that hill.
Sure.
I don't know what made that scrape. I mean, that's kind of what we grew up on. Those two bucks from Pennsylvania were prior to cell cams, and I was running just SD cameras. And actually, I was walking in. There was a big cold front coming in. I was walking in, pulled that card on a scrape, and then went up and hung a set in between where I thought it was a different deer. I wasn't even hunting that deer. Was coming from down to that scrape. And so I was sitting in the stand, and I'm checking that, and it's whatever. It's been a week. Well, like, I think it was 2 nights before I saw that deer showed up on camera, and I never had seen him before. And then that night I killed him. Not that influenced what I was doing from a hunt standpoint, but the reality is like, if I was sitting with a cell cam on there, I probably would have put pressure on him the night before, and maybe I would have messed it up, or he wouldn't have done the same thing. And then all of a sudden you're influencing that deer's behavior because you're in there, right? So like, I just was waiting for the weather front to time it right. Whereas if I had that most recent intel from a cell camera, I might have said, today's just as good. Like, I'll go in tomorrow and I'll catch it before this front. You never know. And then who knows what would have happened to that deer, whether I bumped him or he didn't do the thing, or he came through after I left and he's like, whoa, I'm not doing that again. Like there's a lot of different factors that come in. But those 2 years I killed him on, I think, the 23rd and him on the 25th. And I spent the entire first 3 weeks of the season just scouting and moving SD cameras around, just being in the woods and finding scrapes, moving this, doing that, not even, knowing what was there, just waiting for the right weather fronts in the right time frame. But I spent more time in the woods than I had in years because I wasn't using cell cams at that time. Yeah. I was just bouncing around with SD cams and just scouting places, looking for fresh sign. Which is, if anything, that's probably, cell cams are one of the biggest downfalls to woodsmanship.
Yeah.
People just put them out there, and especially if you're in Ohio, no knock, I do it, but you put it on a corn pile or whatever, right? But like you're not out there reading sign, you're not looking for fresh scrapes, you're not looking for rub lines, you're not looking for travel corridor. Like you're just putting a camera out there, and then once you get it on there, you're like, hey, he's there. Now I'll just time it to when he starts showing up consistently, and I'll go kill him.
Well, and guys will argue that they don't have the time or X, Y, Z.
It's the same reason for crossbows, though. They'll argue the same thing.
And I'm like, I'd love to be able to shoot par golf and play twice a year.
No shit.
Or like have Steph Curry's jump shot.
It's not possible.
Yeah.
No, you have to put time in to get good at something.
Or adjust the goal.
That's right. You're not supposed to, you're not supposed to have that level of success without.
That's the weirdest thing about hunting. Like if we get into the debates, whether it's cameras or baiting or crossbows or
it pertains to us too. Like
doesn't matter,
dude. Yeah, I don't know that we should have the. I mean, to go out and kill 2 deer in Illinois, for instance, it's like for sure some part of that was running all the cell cameras that we ran. So we collected information quickly, and we were able to observe the property over a year and make a decision and stuff. And so like, I don't know. Like, should you have the ability to?
I think that
level of success.
I think that if you talk to a lot of those groups where we get kickback on, they feel like we're taking success away from them. Like they feel like they are entitled to kill deer.
Yes.
I buy a license. It's whether it's public or private, it's my property. Like I can do whatever I want. I can kill deer. I'm entitled to. And it's like, no, like it's not 100% guaranteed. It's not supposed to. It's supposed to be hard. Like the reason it was cool in the 90s and stuff is like when a dude was parading a big buck around, it was because he was 1 out of 10 that killed one. Because the other 9 busted their ass and couldn't kill one. He killed one, and that's why it was so cool. Now we have this, and maybe that's social media. Maybe that's just the way that we're communicating anymore from text messages and stuff. But it's like there's this perception of like, well, don't take those things away from me. Like I'm entitled to kill these deer. Yeah. Like if I don't kill a deer, if I don't punch a tag in a year, it's your fault. It's not my fault. It's your fault because you didn't give me all the tools I need to do it. That's just crazy.
That's like the golf analogy where like you're not going to be a scratch golfer.
You're not.
Be happy breaking 100.
Yeah, or don't golf.
Yeah, or don't golf. And if you golf twice a year, be happy.
Yeah.
Like
hit the putt course,
dude.
It is a wild thing, and it's like those are the things that when you try to bring what I would say is like a common sense analogy in from like another, I think that golf one is a great one. And then they're like, well, no, it's not the same. I'm like, it is exactly the same. Like you can shoot a crossbow and you'll tell me that put all the shoulder guys out. Like that's the number one. I'm like, cool. You could have got a doctor's excuse anyways, whatever. What's the next one? I don't have time. Okay. Well, you don't have time to be proficient at a vertical bow. Therefore don't archery hunt, gun hunt. Mm-hmm. That's why it's there. That's what it's there for. Well, I want to archery hunt. Well, then put the time in to be proficient with a vertical bow. There's no difference there. You can't just this society. I mean, dude, it's getting soft. It is getting so soft in that all of these people just want everything handed to them. Like, well, I don't have time and I deserve this. No, earn it. Get out there and earn it. Put the time in. Oh, you're working a lot? Sorry. Like a lot of people have to do that. How bad do you want it?
I want to ask you because you said your home property is pretty small, like 2 acres, right?
Yeah.
And you said earlier you put a food plot and you put a corn pile on it and you run a camera on it, I assume?
Sometimes, but I'm not too.
You guys, do you hunt there?
I let my brother-in-law hunt there.
Okay.
A couple years ago. He got a good taste. He missed one.
Yeah.
Came back 2 weeks later and got one.
There you go.
Do you butt up to like bigger farm, bigger piece of woods? Like where the deer come? I mean, I'm trying to understand the small property mindset.
I will tell you off air a lot more details.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there's enough
There's deer habitat around.
There's deer habitat around. Numbers are not great. Like, I don't fear hitting a deer with a cart. In fact, I had no deer out back in daylight from like October 5th through December.
Is that an EHD effect from past years, or just low deer density area?
Low deer density, and that there's enough habitat there that they could be down the road on some of the bigger farms.
Okay.
Yep. There's a river system too.
Did you say there was no deer on it up from October to December?
At least in daylight on the trail cam out back.
Okay.
But like, I think I've sat out back. I've lived there for 7 years. I think I've sat twice.
Yeah.
It just doesn't do it for me. Like,
sure.
I'm not
it's like a suburban hunt.
Yeah. I'm don't get me wrong. Maybe as I get older and can't get in the woods as much, or I don't want to go climb mountains.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll appeal to me.
Does your brother-in-law hunt there a lot, or?
No, he just wanted to try it. And I was like, let's go. He used to work at Dick's. So
you're like, just so you know, I haven't seen a deer here since October 1st, but.
Well, there was construction around the corner, and I think that affected number of deer using the thicket around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
So, like,
do you think there's other people doing the same thing, like baiting all around?
Oh yeah, it's South Columbus, like
rural, lots of corn piles.
Starting to get rural-esque. Yeah, like.
So what do you think of that? Like, it seems like a lot of the pushback on when we have the baiting discussion is about small properties, and two is probably even on the smaller end of that. But is that something that like resonates with you, or you're like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't be able to bait on this, or what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, like if they said baiting gone, like I'm all for it. I just throw some corn out back so I can see some deer.
Sure.
Like it's not I'm trying to target even does back there or anything. Can my son see a deer walk through the backyard? That's
and the thought process would be, if you didn't have corn, you wouldn't see deer, or just wouldn't see them as consistent?
Probably not as consistent. Like there's a winter rye patch, maybe the size of half a basketball court.
Yeah.
Or maybe even the 3-point line of a basketball court.
Yeah.
Good way
it is surprising to me that you're not seeing deer during the daylight.
Yeah, just not regularly. There's just not a lot of good numbers. If you go 15 minutes south, you start to get a lot better numbers. I think it's just I
have heard that. Like the deer populations in Ohio seem to be more pockety than I think I once thought. Like where our farm is at, there's a lot of deer. Like a lot. And I talked to a lot of people that come from 15, 20, a guy that delivered alfalfa yesterday. He's like, you guys got a ton of deer down here. And he came from like 15 minutes north.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, he's like, yeah, we don't have as many deer up there.
Even the public. I hunt in Michigan too this year too. That was kind of fun to see higher deer numbers. But even the public we hunt, there are places where if you want to see deer, go to this piece versus you want to see maybe
deer,
a twig snap, and it'd be a 160 that you have no idea.
You go that place.
Yeah. Like there's that we play that game public, private, regardless.
HUNTR Podcast is brought to you by HHA.
Man, just another great partner. HHA sights have been on our bows for damn near a decade. They're reliable and durable. And when we were looking to make that change from a multi-pin to a single pin, it was HHA that was there for us.
That's what did it. I think we were dealing with some target panic years ago, or whatever issues we have. We just needed to simplify the process and lean into equipment that works. And for us, like you said, almost 10 years ago, that was the HHA sights.
Yeah, and I mean, we've been through a bunch of different models, the Tetras, the Nitrix, to now Nitrix Pro.
Yep.
Have the single pin, or I've got the X2, which actually has 2 pins on it. We're using Picatinny mounts on our Hoyt bows. And with today's model of bow and the speed that you're putting out, these single pin adjustable type sights are just a no-brainer for anyone looking to simplify their whitetail hunting.
That's right. They've got something for everybody. So right now, you can go to hhasports.com or to your local HHA dealer to check out any of these awesome sites.
There's a lot of drones out there right now.
Oh, yeah.
Like an insane amount. Like even just the number of businesses. Like I don't know how I got on a thermal drone survey, like Facebook group or something. And there's like, what are you charging for this? And it's like hundreds of drone operators, like flying surveys and stuff like that right now. It's crazy. Not many deer that are left on stone unturned.
What were your thoughts on that, on drones?
Oh, no, like I'm out. I'm out completely.
Just over it completely.
Yeah, even on recovery, I'm like, I guess get a dog, because my thought is like the drone thing is just so much of a dirty play can happen.
Yeah.
Versus like dog runs in the woods, the deer could be alive and get away. And some of that aspect to it where like, flying over their other people's properties with a dog, you should probably get permission. I just feel like that keeps like honest people honest.
And that's the unfortunate part about it, right? Like it is an unbelievably effective tool at finding wounded or dead deer, but it's so easily abused. There's no self-regulation.
No. And I don't know. If there's a loophole, if there's a gap, I even posted a couple years ago, there was a guy who literally, buck was still alive, made a play on it, and everyone's like, ooh, that's kind of dirty.
Sure.
And that just keeps happening. Somebody's got to be the adult in the room.
I mean, the biggest part about it is like, so I love blood trailing. Not that I want to have to do it all the time, but I do love it. Like, just because it's like the woodsmanship side of things and like figuring out what it does. And like, I don't know, I'm just, maybe because I'm a piss poor shot, I've been on a lot of blood trails, but there's a rewarding end to that usually of like, you find the deer or whatever. And there are absolutely times where you don't find it, and it whether it lived or died, like, hey, you gave it your all, you tried, you couldn't find it. Like, to me, that's part of the core of hunting, right? In that it is. So as much as I don't want to see an animal go to waste, which is, drone's great at finding that, I also am like, boy, what if you couldn't use a dog and you couldn't use drone? Tomorrow they said, hey, they're banned. Can't use either of them. How many people could follow a blood trail and find a deer right now? Probably not many. There's people that I know in bow season that'll walk up to the spot where they hit the deer and they're like, no blood. I'm like, you just put an arrow in it, like, or a bolt. Like, it's hit. There's no blood at impact, but there will be blood. Like, you just have to,
yeah.
I think we become dependent on them. I mean,
yeah, which is not.
We've
got to get rid of that.
We've called drones in, but I mean, I can also blood trail. Frankly, I haven't had to since we switched beast broadheads. I've had a blood trail one.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, obviously, like, you want a quick and ethical kill on that animal. You also don't want to waste it. Like, you don't want to know, like, hey, I'm following a dead deer here, but I can't find it, and then it's going to go to waste. Like, that's a shitty feeling too. But it's like, that's all part of hunting as well.
I think a lot of us are on the same page in that we want deer recovered.
The interesting stat would be,
but we don't want the tech abused.
Yeah, the interesting stat would be, we've talked about this before, of like, let's just take Ohio. How many people shoot a deer prior to drones and whatever? Shot a deer, started blood trail and couldn't find it. Deer may have died, because of that hit. Went back out, shot another deer. So now they really have harvested 2 bucks instead of 1, right? They didn't recover both, but that's effectively what they killed. Does having drones for recovery minimize that impact, right? So how many people that shot the one now actually find it because they call in a drone versus didn't find it, let me go shoot another one? I don't know. I'm just playing devil's advocate there.
I think it's hard to get a big buck in front of you twice.
Sure.
So, like,
most guys aren't shooting big bucks, though.
Yeah, or
they're just shooting deer.
Bucks in general, like, they tend to be a little more savvy, right? Especially, unless you can call it 2-year-old, right? Like, most people are happy with a racked buck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
but you see what I'm saying? Like, if they shoot a 2-year-old, let's say they just shoot a 2-year-old, they just want to kill buck. Shoot a 2-year-old, it runs off, they blood trail it to the neighbors, can't find it. Yeah. That deer dies. Never found it. They go back 2 weeks later, shoot another 2-year-old, find that one. Now they've killed 2 bucks.
It definitely does happen. I think I don't know
a lot. Would you say?
Well, my question would be more around like whether they end up dying or end up surviving.
I would say
I do think a lot of people don't recover deer.
Yeah.
Then the question then is, are they dead or are they alive? I know from just talking to drone operators, I think a majority of them that they get calls on, they find alive.
Yeah, not lethal.
And whether they end up dying or not, they don't have that information.
We talked about it this morning, digging out the door. I'm like, this has been a rough winter on these deer.
It has.
We had a drought. If I talk about like Ohio or wherever, we had a drought. Then we had EHD. Now we have like December was not an easy month for them. January has now not been an easy month for them.
This snow, like, the cold's one thing, but dude, as much snow as we have right now is just really, really tough. And the drought, like you said, is, in my opinion, the reason we don't have like standing grain in some places. Sure. I left 16 acres.
Or even your natural forage. I mean, they just hammered it because that there wasn't actively grown forbs and stuff because we were in a drought.
They hammered it. Yeah.
What about this cold snap too?
Oh, it's
we don't
brutal.
have a 30-degree day for like
None.
what?
It's not melting.
20 days.
It's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, now we saw a couple here recently, but now they're going to start tossing sheds off left and right because their bodies are going to go under some severe stress here.
Most of mine are in Ohio. Most of mine are down.
Are they?
Really?
Yep. I don't. I have like one 3-year-old that I'm waiting to drop.
I have like none of mine down in Kentucky. which I'm surprised with. They're in like ice down
All of ours in Illinois are still holding too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just where I'm at in Ohio, they dropped pretty quick.
They threw them.
Yeah.
Interesting.
We're a week out from the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Last year, I pulled all-American move. Took the Monday after the Super Bowl off.
Classic.
Went shed hunting.
Yep.
Found 2 good antlers, including my biggest.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, what's more American?
All-American.
All-American move right there.
Ate at Denny's in the morning, you know.
But thinking about this snowstorm, well, if we still have snow on the ground, I won't go.
Yeah.
But that first, like, Friday after this melt-off,
oh, it's going to be crazy.
It's not coming soon, dude. I think this snow is going to be here like through mid-February.
Yeah.
Well, I'm off work today. I was thinking about second half of the day, drive to a spot that I've got a couple cams and scout. And I'm like, dude, even parking might be a pain in the ass today.
Yeah, we couldn't even get in the parking lot if we didn't plow this thing. So, yeah.
Dude, we couldn't yesterday. I couldn't get like the Ranger even through. It's like 18 to 20 inches of snow in some drifty areas.
Yeah, we're supposed to get
out.
Not a lot, but we're going to get more here in the next 2 weeks. That's just going to pow up on it because it's not going to mount.
Are they calling for
Not
it?
like a ton, but like 2 inches here, 3 inches there. Like that'll add up. And it's just not melting. So yeah, I mean, it's the deer have had it.
Even
really
if it
rough.
stopped, even if we got no more snow and it sat at like 35 degrees,
it's going to take a while.
It's going to take like, it could be March before it's gone.
It's going to take a while. And we
a lot of freaking snow out there, man.
We went into it early too. It was like right after Thanksgiving, we hit those cold snaps and some of that first snow.
Yeah, well, second day of Ohio's gun season, we got a good like 4 or 5 inches. I shot a doe that day and drove through that snowstorm. It was a good time.
Yeah, it was cold.
But yeah, like we've had a lot of snow this year.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
dude. This right now is the most snow
It's been a while
that I can remember. Honestly,
yeah, been a while since we had something
since
like
I was
this.
a kid. I remember having like a snow week where we would go snow tubing and stuff on the roads, but
it's not like the 90s, but yeah.
Yeah. That would have been early 2000s that I'm thinking of, but
yeah, it's going to be tough on these deer, man. They're going to have a heck of a time trying to, not be stressed out to I've seen people posting like, I don't know, they're just finding dead deer. Like, I don't know if they're
really?
Yeah, probably ones that were like not good, like going into, the winter, whether they got shot or hit by a car or whatever, but like they're finding dead deer already. Not a lot, but just periodically.
From the winter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and or just like I said, they could have been wounded during bow season or gun season, and just
suckers are pretty resilient. I mean, they find ways to survive. I don't know. This will be a test for them for sure, but I don't know, dude. What my those feeders that I have there is like it's impressive the amount of the amount of deer that are just being sustained by that. It's like you can look at it like in a big ag field and not see a single track across it, but then you go like to those feeders and where I put that alfalfa out, and it's just like
you stop feeding them corn,
like buffalo trails. That's why I fed them alfalfa.
Yeah, which should help a little bit.
You gotta have something.
We gotta still take the DraftKings odds if they're gonna eat that alfalfa or not. We talked about that a little prior to the podcast.
It's hard to tell.
Yeah, some groups of deer don't touch it. Obviously the Canadian deer.
I can't imagine them not eating it though. Like in these conditions, like they'll eat freaking bark.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
They'll eat it.
You just don't want them to fill up on corn and basically starve themselves to death because there's not enough nutrients to suffice.
Do you think the big woods deer might have a slight advantage with the shitty conditions because of the browse, because of things like greenbrier that are above snow line?
For sure. Yeah, and even just being able to dig down to some of those acorn ridges and stuff like that. I mean, we had a lot of places had bumper acorn crop years, but they're more their biome is just more geared for browse in general, right? They don't have ag that they're relying on in the summertime, and they're feeding on forbs and other stuff. But I mean, browse is I'd say in the big woods at least a 30+% component of the diet year round. Now it's 80%.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's probably they're just kind of geared for that. The one thing
do you think they can tell? Like, I mean,
what do you mean?
So I've heard a deer dying like with a belly full of corn, kind of a thing. I assume they like know that they can't just eat corn.
I mean, they're a selective browser to begin with. The problem is like they're attracted to corn.
Sure.
And if it's readily available to them, they'll eat until they're essentially stuffed with it. And it's two-phased. It's one is that, especially from a crude protein level, it barely has enough crude protein if they could, process and extract it all to function the basal metabolic stuff like breathing, digestion, that thing.
Mm-hmm.
On the other side is their gut biomes are not, like, they probably have been eating browse or standing grain or whatever. And so to change to like the majority of their diet being a shelled corn or something is not good, because that's what takes time to adjust.
Mm-hmm.
And so in between there is they're eating corn, but they're not able to extract all the nutrients because the biome in their gut is not adaptive to pull nutrients out of just corn, right? The bacteria is different based on if their diet's majority browse or, crops or, forbs or whatever it is. So to the big wood stuff, like their gut is built to be browse oriented. Doesn't mean that they can't eat forbs or corn pals every once in a while, whatever, but it's built, the bacteria in their gut is built to that. When they have to change that bacteria a lot, it's really tough on a deer.
Interesting.
And that's why they die. It's not like the toxicity stuff that you would see in like a turkey or things like that, which that's aflatoxin basis. I mean, a little bit, but
he just went full biology on us. Like that was like a 103 class. Right?
Yeah.
I don't necessarily.
There's bits of real information in there.
The only thing that I like, do I think that all your deer are going to starve to death because they're eating a feeder of corn? No, not necessarily. It worries me about how much they're putting away, and even your comment there of they're walking across the field and like not eating and they're just eating the corn like that.
Well, just there is nothing for them to eat.
They find stuff.
What do you mean?
Browse.
Well, yeah, but not in an open ag field. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like areas you'd think you'd see them out there pawing around and stuff. I think right now they're just eating woody browse. And if I feel guilty, I guess is one way to put it, but it's just like if we're lacking anywhere, it would be our timber management. It'd be the woody browse that should be down. There's some, but not nearly enough to sustain the number of deer that are in there.
I think that's the problem. Is like, and I think you're just overpopulated.
But definitely. Mm-hmm. Definitely is part of it. It's hard to know right now too, because they're definitely yarded up. So it's like it seems like we could just shoot does forever, but
so no beans left in any of this. Wow.
What about your clear cut?
Yeah, it's not so much like a woody browse clear cut anymore. It's like we're 3-4 years into it, and it's just kind of like multiflora out there. There's some like old brush pile, like kind of stuff, but it's not like a thicket necessarily, The
hardest part about like the winter time from a feeding standpoint, like I just was even thinking about it here when the season ends, it's like, I'm like, I should go put feed out, but it's like the moment you do, there's a dependency on it from the deer, and there will be indirectly you're gonna change their diet, and you're gonna change that gut biome of like what they have to process, but the other thing is like we're just guilty of like wanting to see deer, right? And feel like hey, I want to keep them here, whether it's for sheds or just like you feel like you're taking care of them, and at the end of the day, it's just best not to feed them. They may go somewhere else, and whether they have protein out or corn out or nothing, or it's just an alfalfa field, or they may migrate a mile. You never see them again, but that's kind of part of it. The one thing that I've tried not to do is like just constantly feed. Like if I put, like I'm using sweet feed right now, if anything, but if I put sweet feed out, like I'll have it out, and if it runs out, then it might be out for 2 or 3 weeks. Like I won't put anything else back out, and then maybe 3 weeks later I'll put some out again, and that essentially is having them not be reliant on that feeder and that feed that's supplemental essentially, and know that they've got to still eat whatever's natural around them. Do some of them disappear for 3 weeks at a time or more? Yeah, for sure. Like they go and find food somewhere else. But
I wonder about the reliance component of that. Like how, that's what I mean about like, do they know? Do they sense that they still have to eat?
Oh, absolutely.
Other thing,
Well, I think they just think that's the mindset. It's like if they think that they're consuming food and it's filling their stomach and like they're fine.
Do they know? Isn't that the selective browsing piece? Like where
no, selective is that they're going to pick the most nutritious food available for them in the right amount. Well, if there's limited browse, and right now that browse is not great, but it's still 10, 12% protein in some cases, like a good greenbrier or something like that. But there's still that mindset of like, I need to eat. A lot of deer in like the big woods will lock down. Like they'll eat periodically. They're not going to just constantly be moving and eating if the browse and the food available to them is not there, because they're going to burn more energy than they're gaining, right? That's an internal system that they're providing. When they're at, like, let's say they're at a food source, then they're selectively being able to pick what's the most nutrition. Well, if the main food source that they're relying on is just the same thing, in this case, shelled corn, they're just going to eat.
So I wonder if, like, given the option between corn and alfalfa, if they'll choose the one that's better for them.
I mean, alfalfa for sure is better, but now you're telling them to change their biome again, their bacteria in their stomach, to adjust to alfalfa from shelled corn or woody browse even, which is a big difference. So there's a period there that happens where they can't extract the nutrients. So even though alfalfa might be more it may take them 2 or 3 weeks to adjust that bacteria in their biome to extract the nutrients that makes alfalfa more advantageous than even woody browse.
You think so, or know so?
Know so, for sure.
Yeah.
It's just that bacteria is geared to whatever they're eating throughout the season.
And it takes 2 to 3 weeks for them to switch it.
Yeah, I would say at least.
Interesting. And so they're doing that
doesn't mean that they're not
throughout the year?
Yep. It's just evolving. That's why there's gradual changes. Like when they go from, the summertime eating, browse and forbs and maybe crops and stuff, and then all of a sudden acorns start to fall, there's a change period there of them going into, basically able to metabolize that mast to pull out the nutrients from that mast. And then that casually goes into usually woody browse, which is the next dominant. And that bacteria you just think of as like, it's just leaning to whatever's dominant in their diet at that given seasonal time frame.
Yeah, well, that part I don't know about. It's I can look in the woods and see that there's limited woody browse because of the amount of deer we have and the drought that we had earlier this year. I know there's no grain left because I can see it, right? It's gone. So essentially their only food source that's left would be that I can see them eating is whatever woody browse is out there, acorns that are under the snow, you can see them digging them up, and my corn and my alfalfa that's in a feeder and on the ground.
So the question you would ask yourself is, if you didn't feed them, what would they do?
Based on what I've seen in years past, I think they would do the same thing. I haven't seen them like leave necessarily. They just don't have as much to eat, I think.
I would think that they would leave if they didn't have food.
Or more dispersion, right? Yeah. Like if you're currently out
less winter yard.
Yeah, just everybody spreads out a bit more.
That may happen. They may happen. We probably do have more deer there right now because of our...
I'm sure.
See, but I don't know where they go. Do they just go to the other feeder,
maybe
another feeder?
Maybe. Or they go to a clear cut that's got more browse.
Maybe.
Or an alfalfa field adjacent to an alfalfa field that they can dig through. I don't know.
I don't know.
The biggest thing is like it's kind of two-faced, right? Because like we are at the end of January and we're just getting into winter. Like we still got all of February and really through mid-March basically before we probably see any green up happening, if not late March, depending on where we're at, right? So we've got 2 months of this of like, from a sustaining standpoint, it's like there's to a point, it's like if you're yarding up deer, and this is what happens in like Michigan and stuff, is like they do an like insane amount of damage to the natural habitat where they yard, because they're not just going to eat whatever's in the yard. They're going to eat browse. They're going to hit everything else that's around. You're putting an artificial number of deer into a certain spot there. And then it's, again, just trying to ensure that their nutrient system is able to outtake like whatever's in the food that they're eating so that they have enough to keep warm, right? Do digestion, breathe, like all the basic body functions essentially. And obviously in this case, it's keeping warm is a big calorie consumer of what they're doing too. And then eventually you're going to get into, green up where they're going to start to come back out of this thing. But like we got 2 months ahead of it. It's like, I would for sure not encourage feeding corn for 2 more months. Like maybe now, just because of what they came off of in late fall with grain and some stuff like that, like maybe they're able to pull enough out of it that they're okay. But you go 2 more months into this thing, and they surely shouldn't be eating corn in late February, early March.
It's a first for us for sure. Like with this kind of yarding, like we just don't get hard winters usually.
And the hard part for you is like you just got an overpopulation of deer. Like I might feed. I'll go down to Kentucky in a couple of weeks. I'll feed sweet feed and 2 or 3 feeders on the mountain property, but there's only 12 deer on that 200 acres. 15 deer. Like there's not a lot of deer, so like they can continue. There's good browse that they'll still eat, and like eventually that snow's going to melt. They'll eat acorns and stuff that are remnant, and then they'll hit that sweet feed every once in a while. And the goal with that is kind of a couple things. Is it's still grain based, right? So there's still a gut biome section, but that sweet feed's between 12 and 14% protein. It's got a higher fat rate in it. It's got a higher fiber rate, which mimics browse more from the fiber side. And so you're hoping that even if they can't extract all of those nutrients out of there, being that you're sitting at higher than 6 or 7% on corn, they're maybe getting 7 or 8% protein out of that. Well, if they can only get 3% of protein out of a 6 or 7 in corn, that's when they find themselves in a bad situation, because you need 6 to 8% just for daily metabolic functions in a deer. Crude protein level. So if they're eating all that and they're getting full and they're not eating anything else to balance it out, and they're not getting that crude protein, that's when they starve to death, because essentially their organs and stuff start to shut down.
Right. Well, yeah, that snow is tough, man. I know there's acorns under the snow that they'd love to get at and will go back to
for sure
as soon as they
I'm sure they're pawing at them now where they can.
They are.
Yep. But yeah, it's a tough scenario, and that's and there isn't necessarily a good like right or wrong of like tons of people feed deer, because it's like,
well, ideally
I feel like
you'd
I've
have a standing grain source. That would be
next to a clear cut.
Yeah, next to a clear cut. Yeah,
exactly.
That's it. It's just there's Wisconsin sees that there's 100 deer in any standing grain field right now. And so you just have to. Now's the time where it's kind of like, and as much as I would love to see all my bucks staying in a singular place so that in the next 2 to 3 weeks I can find sheds, is probably best for them that I just kind of let them do their thing and not gather them. Now, like on that farm in Kentucky, I've got 6 or 7 acres of standing beans still right now that they can eat. They're still eating a lot of woody browse, and then they'll eat grain. Like they know that they're balancing their diet in that case because they have options.
Yeah. But interesting, we haven't seen them really yard up in Illinois at all. Like even with the food sources we have, like the deer that are there are eating those grain sources, but they just we're not seeing more deer.
I think they just have,
despite harsh conditions,
good spots in other places. They can get good native browse that's up above the snow line right now.
Yeah,
because the snow line's low there anyways. But yeah, it's a tough thing of like, because we want to see deer. Like that's by feeding them, we think that we're helping them, but in some cases we're not.
And how do you find out eventually? I mean, it's like
you'll find dead deer in March.
Sure. Well, yeah. Obviously, if you see a dead deer, you can put 2 and 2 together. But
yep. Or just starting to look rough, like on camera, here in the next couple weeks.
Which they don't. Yeah. I mean, they look fine. They look old, but
yeah. Yeah. It'll be more.
I'll
be
curious.
I
am really curious to see if they eat that alfalfa, just because I've never fed it. It's hard to tell right now because I put corn in it.
Yeah.
I mean, I like laced it with it basically, but
yeah, and I don't know. I've never fed. I know a lot of people that drop alfalfa bells and they'll walk away and they're like, yeah, the deer crush it. I have no idea.
Yeah, well, it's Skip and Bomar that I'm getting that from. They're basically like, yeah, as soon as you can, start feeding alfalfa.
Interesting.
Which may be an Iowa thing, like just from, is there more alfalfa fields out there? Are they just used to that stuff?
We have a bunch of alfalfa fields right around us.
So in Ohio, we don't. Like there are areas of the state that, I don't see a ton of alfalfa crop. I remember I spent some time in Wisconsin. I was like, oh.
Alfalfa everywhere.
Way more.
Yeah. It's very soil finicky for sure. That's why you see it in like some of the better soil areas.
Oh, you know what? Now that you say that. Yeah.
So guy used to float around the thing, and it's soil fertility. It's not alfalfa, but like back in the day, if you looked at the number of Boone and Crockett bucks, it mimicked exactly where the alfalfa map was on the United States. And it's because of soil quality, not necessarily because of alfalfa, but the plantings of alfalfa are correlated with the best soils in the U.S. So, like, if you lay those maps over each other, they all look exactly alike.
Yeah.
So that's how alfalfa usually got picked up as, like, you need to plant alfalfa because that grows big bucks. Is like, They'd look at that map and they're like, all the big bucks get killed where alfalfa is. Well,
yeah,
it's tough to grow alfalfa in poor soil.
That makes sense. Well, we don't have great soil, and we don't have a ton of alfalfa, but it's
there.
We have some.
So that might affect how they eat it, because if they have that behavior of eating it before, obviously this is dried alfalfa, so like, I don't know, it's hay-based, right, that you put out?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they just bale the alfalfa.
Yeah, I don't know how that looks on any of that stuff. Yeah, it's tough, man. Any place that
I'll report back in a couple of weeks.
Any place that has high deer populations, it's extremely difficult in these winter time frames, because it puts a hurting on the native habitat, and it for sure puts a hurting on the deer. The social stress aspect of it is through the roof. You know, that's where, like, as much as I bitch about it, having low deer densities during the hunting season, right now I'm like, those deer are eating great. Like, they're happy, they're fat, they got plenty of food, they got low social stress.
Well, ours, even right now, if we could do a better job managing our timber, I would be less concerned.
Yeah, that's where it starts. Yeah.
Well, and that's so
you're on your way.
We did, yeah, and we're kind of restarting that process here now. So I'm hopeful. Is what it is. I mean, I don't know. It's the best we can do.
It will be. I mean, especially like I know Southeast Indiana, Southwest or Southeast Ohio, Northern Kentucky, all those places that got smashed, West Virginia, that got smashed with EHD this year. You know, partially a blessing in disguise in that, like, that reduced the deer density in those areas a lot, to where the deer that are remaining in those spots have adequate resources. Because a lot of those places were overpopulated before the EHD outbreak. It would have been, I'm not saying that you're going to have more deer now than you would have, because, like, not that many deer would have died as much as EHD killed them, but for sure now these deer that are remaining have adequate resources and space. The competition's low. You know, ultimately they should come out of the winter better than if they were in a mix with an overpopulated deer herd. But the other thing, and I had people asking the other day, and I don't know, I mean, I've read enough on it, is like, good chance that this type of weather really kills the larvae that are in the mud flats.
Oh, that's good news.
Because obviously this big hatch that happened, right? Like, immediately when these things hatch, there are larvae that are going back into the soil substrate right now, or in the early fall, but they sit low. Like, they're not that far from the soil surface, essentially, and they can't withstand extreme cold temperatures. So when we have these types of events, hopefully that puts a damper on a lot of those midges that are in, you know, essentially mud flats that are exposed and they're 4 inches deep or whatever, and starts to knock those back. Yeah. Doesn't mean that we won't have EHD in those same spots next year, but could reduce it at least.
Could help, yeah.
You know. HUNTR Podcast is brought to you by Primos.
Dude, double bull blinds, the original doe can, and who could forget the iconic Magnum buck roar?
I mean, that in a nutshell is Primos for whitetail deer hunters. I mean, that buck roar is by far the best grunt call that's ever been made. I lost it in a CRP field in Kansas, somehow found it, and for the last 10 years, I've been notching every buck that I've called in with that call, and I can tell you there's a lot of marks on it.
There's been a lot of them over the years, man. I can recall. So my dad actually shot that 160-inch 8-point in Ohio a couple of years ago. It was double bull blind. I just set that up a few days before, and we've had a lot of success out of those over the years. And so right now, you can use code HUNTR, HUNTR, for a discount off anything on the Primos website. That's primos.com.
Speak the language.
Did you kill a buck this past year, Byron?
Yeah, shot one with the recurve.
Just one?
Just one.
I don't mean like just one. But is that Ohio?
It was an Ohio buck. I don't know.
With a recurve.
With a recurve, and I got my experience that I wanted. Last year I shot another one, small buck, with the recurve, and
so is this year 2 fully with recurve or more than that?
Ooh, so
you're full recurve.
Not full, definitely not. December came, or when I went up to Michigan too, I picked up the compound.
Yeah,
I was ready. And I'll take a blaster too during those seasons. But yeah, so this is like 3rd year with it, where I'm shooting over the summer, getting ready for season. Year 1, I gave it till November 1st, and then I had a sternum injury where I really couldn't shoot all that much. I was like, I should probably take the compound at this point. But year 2, shot one at like 17 yards, 6 foot up. That was cool. But this year I was like 10 yards, 3 feet, and that's what I wanted. You know, I kind of voiced my opinion on the technology. I'm looking at deer hunting, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take a step into the recurve land a few years ago, and that's kind of what I don't know if I'm gonna do it forever, because I do kind of have that ambition of getting back to shooting better racked bucks. But it was cool. And honestly, too, like for all the dads out there, like I picked up the Recurve and like my son and even my daughter are like, oh, I can see your arrow. Your bow looks more like my kid's toy bow.
Yeah.
There was definitely, and I shoot way more. It's way more fun. Like I will do it again, but maybe November 1st this year I pick up the compound.
So when you did that, what was the transition from like were you hunting? Was there a certain class of buck that you would have said you were after to with a Recurve? It was kind of a fresh start, or
yeah. So like I don't know. I don't have no giants or nothing, but like I killed a handful of like 120 to 140 class deer, public land, big woods, like. I
compound.
Yeah. But like, I would definitely wish like I had a couple 160s on the wall for sure.
Sure.
But I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna pick up this Recurve, and I thought first year I was like, oh, I'll hold out for like, you know, a 110 or 120. And then like even those, I was just having trouble where I'd draw back, and then my top limit hit a split, or I sailed an arrow over a doe's back at like 12 yards, like just debacles. And what was it? Two years ago, I shot a real small buck, but it was cool. And then this year,
was the first year you shot with it.
Small buck. And then last year I said racked buck, like getting it. And you know, it just so happened. The day before, if I'd have stayed in the tree, I had a 150, 7 yards from the original tree. This is good. This is a decent story. So it's like November 3rd or something. Go back into this. Thicker area.
That's the day, you know that.
A couple days before
One
Bill
of them,
Winkett
November
Day.
3rd.
Yeah. And sun comes up, see a buck cruise on the ridge, give him the old 2-2. He didn't come down. And then like 20 minutes later, single doe, hear the grunt. They do a little chasing scene up there. I'm like, well, I got to get up there, right? Like, I'll kill myself if 20 minutes later here comes something down. Yeah. So I get down, and I didn't think I had enough time to hang a stand and be there for the next 30, 40 minutes. That's about all the time I had that day. So I got up there, and I start hearing this dog way in the distance. Definitely like single wide dog, got loose in the big woods, and it's barking. And I
start single wide dog.
Yeah, you single wide trailer dog. Definitely like it.
I know a bunch of them.
So it's out for a joyride, if you will, barking
I'm gonna
and
use
hollering.
That.
Yeah. And I start hearing the leaves crunching, and so here come two does across the top. They're like probably 25-ish yards above me, 30. I'm like, dude, like, all right, this dog's doing me a deer drive. I look over, and I was hunting this like kind of old like logging road where the tree stand was. Here comes a 150. And I'm like, sweet. I draw. He's like 25, 30. And when he draw, maybe he saw me in the periphery, or maybe he said, I'm not going that way. And he literally went down the hill.
Right to where you were?
Dude, he was 7 yards from my original tree. But you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. I think I still made the right call. Like, hot though, like, and I'm looking for a rack buck. Like, that was fine. So next day, I went in there and I had the debate. Okay, I've seen a couple deer up there 30 yards. I even went and looked. Do I make the move, or do I hunt my original tree that the 150 was at? And I was like, I kind of like the original tree, but I'm going to bump over one because it was an oak tree with branches, but as skinny as like a softball. So I was like, all right, this is the tree though. And, of course, the first buck I see is still up there 40 yards, so I didn't play that game right. But I gave him a grunt, and he was interested. So he works to, like, 20, and I think he's going to take the logging road. And, of course, he decides to go, like, random direction to my right, draw the bow. I hit the branches I'm in, because I got, like, a zip tie around one branch, a can jam, like, night eyes around another. And he starts looking, but I got a shit ton of cover between me and him. He starts looking for me. And I'm like, shit. But then he thinks it's the buck, I think. So he takes two more steps. And as he takes the two more, I got a basketball hole, 10 yards. I let it rip. And I remember seeing the arrow not disappear because it was still sticking out, but like hit him good. Yeah. And I was just like, dude, that was so fucking awesome. like 10 yards, 3 feet. Like,
what broadhead do you use on that?
A VPA 3-blade.
Yeah.
Like maybe I'll go to a 2 if I think I have.
Are they heavy?
Yeah, like my setup is like 200 up front plus the insert.
Yep.
And I'm 45 pounds. Maybe I've shot Dave's bow. It's 50 pounds. Maybe I go that route, but I'm also like, I don't have bow pulling muscles. I can do a shit ton of pull-ups, but.
Yeah. My Recurve was 52, and then I just backed down to a 45, and it's way better.
Yeah.
You know, and I lost a little zip, but from a control standpoint, way better.
Yeah, that was one of the hardest things I had year 1 and 2 is like you can hold a 45-pound bow back recurve wise for a couple of, let's call it 20, 30 seconds.
Not a 50 plus.
20, 30 seconds.
Yeah. But
it's comfortable.
Are you supposed to do that?
It depends. I mean,
I thought with a recurve you draw back and shoot it.
you could be reactive like that, which is like a Cody. Cody's like he's a reactive shooter.
I would be too. I don't even hold my compound
versus actually like taking your time and using pin gaps or whatever from an aiming standpoint.
Yeah, and like I don't know. I think like the first couple of years, I'd almost wait for that deer to get in the lane to draw because that was my fear. Is I get the bow back and be like.
Yeah, just be holding and...
Yeah, and now I'm like, I got a couple seconds. Like, I can draw and they take the 2 or 3 steps. Now, if they stop when they're behind the stuff, whatever. Like,
what it is.
But I've noticed my couple blown opportunities, I wasn't drawing, and they were almost in the lane where they can see me now. They see the movement. These deer are under 15 yards. I like to hunt low.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, like, I feel like I grew in that aspect of being able to close with that recurve. But, yeah, dude, like, rack buck, probably, like, 90 inches, maybe your typical 2.5-year-old, like maybe a year and a half. I don't know. Dave's like, he's kind of bigger body, maybe. And mile in, packed him out. Like, it was awesome. Now, cool. I didn't have the moment in the kids, hey, here's a buck in the truck because I had quartered him.
Yeah.
It didn't have that wow factor, but it was fun.
Have you taken it out of state or anything like that?
Yeah, I missed a deer in, I'm not going to gaslight that state, but I missed a deer a couple years ago out of state with it. This year, though, as soon as I left the state, I grabbed the compound. I was tired of playing the I need perfect conditions, and I was like, 3-day hunt, let me grab the compound. And even doe hunting, like, I think I might have bow hunted once in December. I took the compound. Like, I want the more effective tool at that point.
What do you hunt? What are you hunting out of at this point? You've done a lot of the like mobile hunting reviews and stuff like that. What are you hunting with?
Yeah, like the small stand sticks. Like I got the XOP gear, and it does
small stand, like a tree stand.
Yeah, definitely a tree stand. Now I do sometimes hybrid hunt it where I take a saddle or a rock climbing harness in where I end up hunting the backside of the tree. But I like the feet level, bigger platform. I can put my bag on that seat to get ready. Like I definitely prefer that. It is sometimes comfortable to lean back in a saddle, but I've landed on the tree stands.
So it's a small XOP stand is what you're hunting out of.
Yeah.
How small are they? Are they like comparable to the?
I would compare them to the .75 size.
Yep. Okay. That's what I use.
Yeah. So like, there's a handful of companies on
still small, but big enough that you're comfortable on the platform and.
Yeah, you can hunt all day in it just fine. And I do take only 2 sticks when I recurve hunt because, like, I don't want to be
and there's no reason
15 plus. Like, I think that angle starts to get a little harder. And a lot of guys miss with the recurve over the top.
Sure.
What kind of sticks do you run?
Just their double step. The
XOP makes a double step?
Yeah, I got a 3/8er on the first one, so that can get me like 7 foot. And then, the other stick has either a double or a triple. Now, if I'm compound hunting, I'll take all 3 sticks with 8ers, and that'll give me like 18, maybe 20 if I stretch it,
Yep.
You like the 8ers, though?
Oh, yeah, especially for the first stick because, like, I'm not going to burn 2 sticks to get 7 foot because you can only reach as high as the speed button,
right?
If you will, to get that thing on the tree, and it's like, why not? If you're going to take a risk, take it low. So burn it on the first stick.
Yep.
I'm a huge fan of 8ers of any sort.
So I didn't exactly catch that. Why on the first step than on the others?
Just so you're not putting 2 sticks up to get 7 feet. You can get 7 feet essentially with 1 stick and an 8er.
I see.
Yeah,
and it's essentially just like a piece of cord on either side with like does XOP make those 8ers also, or
a lot of companies make aftermarket 8ers at this point? Like, I don't know, hang free, a billion of them.
Have you ever used one of those?
No.
Set 8ers. I've seen them. Like in theory, they make sense to me. I never like got to a point where I was like, I need to have that as a part of my arsenal. Like,
well, from a compound standpoint, it's like I always have 4 sticks with me.
Yeah, I carry 4 sticks also. But also shooting for that height, we're probably 16 to 18 on any given hunt.
Also, commute wise, like I'm walking a mile and 500 foot elevation. I might do 2 climbs and so like it's just like to do the math. Yeah, I would rather have water than another climbing stick, just so I can stay out there longer and like.
I do like the thought process of like just from a speed of getting in, like a single stick to get me 7 feet if I'm if I'm recurve hunting. That makes sense. Even in some cases, like if I'm on a hillside or whatever, I might do that from a compound standpoint. I don't need to be 15 feet. There's no difference between that and 7, essentially, depending on where I'm at. So that makes sense from a single standpoint to get up there. I guess it also depends, like, flexibility of, like, how high you can hang your first stick to get up into it anyways. Like, there's some that, like, if Jared's hanging them, I'm like, I feel like I'm needing a 4-foot vertical to jump into the first stick. I got
a pretty good span. I was looking at your legs. You could probably get up there with just a couple sticks there too.
Yeah, and also like bibs, right? Time of year. Like I can't stretch in like heavy gear. Like I'm not getting,
I feel like I'm gonna rip my crotch out when I'm getting up on them. Or big boots. If you have big boots on those are tough too.
Yeah, it is tough.
Or if the tree pitches a weird way. But,
man, I love hanging tree stands.
I nerd out, man.
That's fun. Yeah. There's an art to it for sure.
Yeah, I think the aider thing makes a lot of sense though, from depending on what your setup is, and like you said, just from what you're carrying in standpoint. Like there's probably plenty of compound sets where if I had an aider and a stick, I probably could get 12 to 14 feet. Just using branches and stuff too. Like if you've got back cover or whatever.
Do you need the double sticks to run those, or because would run a single step if it hangs off either side?
No, because I used to run the original OG Lone Wolves with a built aider. Yeah, out of like 1 inch, like almost like I think I cut up like a ratchet strap, if you will. Something wide, and then added,
just to get your foot into it.
Added duct tape or whatever on that section that hang low, and then tie it on there.
I've seen ones now where they've got like, I don't know. Like they come down and they've got like a little plastic platform, like so it's nicer for your boot to sit on versus like just the loop cable or whatever, which is I think more common, or loop rope or something like that. So
a lot of them are still just rope.
I've seen rope ones still.
A lot of AM still with like a tube to hold it open or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I guess you just use what you're comfortable with, what works. It's funny, man. There's guys got all over the board there, I think, with that mobile stuff there. There's just a surprising number of saddle hunters out there. Do you do very much of that, or have you?
I did for a couple years, especially for like gun aspect, right? Like I would take a saddle and just hunt 3 feet off the ground, so I'm standing on it. So now I'm 9 foot up in the air.
Just a little bit of elevation.
And I got a monopod in front of me with a tree.
Yep.
So like I've done the saddle thing. I just for especially the recurve, I don't want a bunch of ropes in my like firing mechanism.
Can't have that.
Of working it.
Yeah, from a recurve standpoint, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's been my biggest thing, even just like watching people, and there are people very successful in it, but just like going over top of things and like I don't know, I just want it clear. I just don't want ropes and things hanging in front of me, and I think that's the biggest part of that I try to avoid. It's also just how you grew up.
Yeah.
Like I just feel more comfortable like back against the tree, and like, that's just how I function.
I'm trying to remember. I killed, I guess 2 were out of the custom gear this year. One was out of a ladder stand. Ladder stand. Yeah. Nothing wrong with a ladder stand.
That's full spectrum right there.
That's it.
Absolutely.
The old man ladder stand.
We hung the ladder stand too. I'm not afraid to hang a ladder stand ever.
No, those are comfy. Not much better than climbing into a preset. Just like
it's awesome.
It's just there, and you're just like up in there way before dark, and you're light, and you're just like,
The only problem with the ladder stand is like sometimes they stick out from the tree a little further, like depending on what brand you're using or whatever. So like what I love about the custom gear is that you can literally become the tree, like hug it, That ladder stand, I feel like it pushes you out from it a little bit more. And also because it's it's big and square, it's hard to get those shots behind the tree like you would on a standard platform or something.
Oh yeah. And I like too, like sometimes when I hunt low, having a stand over a saddle is like, one, I don't need to tie in, but it's like I'm like floating in the middle of like a cluster of beech trees, and it's like a ground blind. Like I just need to be able to turn and shoot at the moment, if you will. I killed one deer 7 yards, 3 feet off the ground on a scrape a couple years ago with a compound.
Damn.
That was a rush.
Yeah, that's freaking intense.
Like I remember the first thing I seen on him was like his black eyes. Like I didn't even I saw good enough rack. I was like, I'm not passing this, and I knew there was a couple 8 points in there I'd shoot. It just happened to be not one of the bigger ones. There was 2 like 130 class 8s, and then there was this guy, and he was more like 125 8. But he's like 18 wide. That's good enough for me. Heck, I got a thing for wide bucks. I'll shoot any buck if he's like 18, 20 inches wide.
First mule deer I shot with Jared in North Dakota, I looked down and he was in full velvet, and I saw like 2 baby drops on him, and I'm like, that'll do. He's dead.
He's done.
He
died. Yeah.
He died. Yeah.
What about you, Jared? If a buck has either browse or maybe a bladed 2, like, is he getting it? Is there a characteristic you're like, I love that?
No, I don't think so. I'm hunting more often than not, like, well, I guess I can't say always, because Kansas was kind of a unique experience this past year. But like more often than not, like I've got an idea of who.
Oh yeah, that's true. You guys do know a lot more than
which
like myself.
Which deer we're after. That said, I mean, there's been deer like I'm trying to remember like example. But to answer your question, no, I don't think there's a specific characteristics like. I notice it, obviously, if one's got double drop times, like I'm like, oh, that's super unique. But I don't know, man. They just like certain deer rub you a certain way, and like more often than not, it's the history and the age that you have with them, and hopefully they've got a big rack too, you know. But
yeah, Jeremy, are you a drop guy? Browse?
I mean, that drop will kill them. It depends. Like on the whitetail side, I don't know. I mean, I'm evolving. I'm still pretty particular about like building a history with deer, like even on public. And that's the cool thing about some of those big wood spots is like. There's places like up here on the mountain on public that, you know, I've got the same deer on camera for 3+ years, you know, and so not that I won't shoot another deer if I'm in there and, you know, a good deer comes by, but like I'm definitely in there for a purpose after a specific deer, you know, and most of the spots I would say I hunt are low deer density. Illinois would maybe be the only one that's not fallen in that category. But, and so it's kind of unique in that I can be aggressive because I'm pretty much like if I see a deer, it's probably the deer that I'm looking for. So I think that's kind of, I guess, from not a characteristic standpoint necessarily as much as like a history standpoint.
Just 5-year-old bucks too. I mean, dude.
Yeah.
It's just an age class. Like I'm not that. If you're fortunate enough to have 2 5-year-old bucks to hunt, like whichever one walks in front of me first is the one I'm shooting. I don't think I've ever passed a 5-year-old buck because I was hunting another one.
I think the big part is like, and it ties into the history side a little bit, but like I'll use my Kentucky stuff for example, is like we don't really grow big deer down there. It's low deer density. And I mean, I've seen some big deer. I've seen some 150, 160 inch deer, but like very rarely. And so like this year, I think I had 3 different bucks, I think that were 6 or older on camera that I had lots of history with. And I don't think a single one of them would have scored 135. And so like the history's there enough with them that I'm like, that's who I'm after this year. That's who I'll be after next year, essentially. And so if I see a 130 inch 4-year-old or 3-year-old come by, it's not that I'm like, mainly I'm like, hey, the kids would be better for that anyways. But I know that the odds of them getting to 6 or 7 are pretty good because I've seen it year after year after year. Like they just, for whatever reason, like maybe it's because it's big woods and it's hard to hunt. There's low deer density, low hunting pressure. These deer are just surviving in those big woods. And so I just don't, like even this year, there were several bucks that were 6 years old that I've had on camera pretty consistently. And I'm like, they'll be there next year. You know, I didn't feel the need to like go out there and kill them. I kind of was satisfied for what we had killed as a family and stuff. So yeah, I think for me, it's more history based. Doesn't mean that I won't kill a surprise deer if I see one, you know, but I would say just knowing where I'm hunting, most of it, it's like I know history with a deer in the area than anything.
It's weird how that like translates to the objective. Like, you know, when we, you know, see a deer or, you know, eventually kill a deer, for me, it's kind of more like the initial thought when we get up on them is not like, look at these antlers, look at that antler characteristic. Although that's definitely something you're observing and handling now for the first time. It's more so like, that's him. He's the one. This is who I was after. So that's the satisfaction comes from like, we targeted this deer for all of these things, you know, because of how he did this thing, because of how old he was, because of what his antlers looked like. So when we kill him, it's the culmination of that. It's him. Yeah. The antler characteristic is just like, oh, he's super unique because of that. It's cool that he has this. It's not like, oh, I saw a deer and it had that thing on his antlers, and so I had to shoot him. Okay. I don't have that at all.
Yeah. No, I would say that's right. It's funny, like we put a clip out, I don't know when it was, a few weeks ago, and we were talking to Dustin Mall about like the giant bucks, you know, and we said something about like oh, we're not talking about 160s. We're talking about 180s to 200s or something. And it blew up. It went, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of views. And it was all these people interpreting it like we're saying like a 160 is not a big deer. And it's like, dude, if you look at like the number of bucks that I have, I mean, I've got a handful of them that are 160 plus, but not many compared to what I've killed. We're not saying that a 160-inch deer isn't big. We're just talking about like, historically, there seem to be more people seeing 180s and 200s, which are the extremely rare deer, don't get me wrong, but there were more sightings of that for people that are doing hardcore stuff. So like even going to some of these shows like SHOT Show and stuff, guys who are managing like significant big properties are like, dude, I didn't see a deer over 170 this year. And they're not blowing that off like that's not a giant deer. It's just like that becomes the norm for a lot of these guys who are investing so much into big deer management and land management side of things that, in that case, it got blown out to like, well, these guys don't even think a 160. No, dude, that's not what we're saying. That 160 is a big deer. Like, of course I'm going to shoot that deer. But the looking of why are people saying that normally would see 170, 180, 190 class deer, they're not seeing those deer anymore.
Right.
I don't have a good answer for them. I don't know why. Right?
Oh, really?
I mean, my initial...
You have thoughts, though.
Yeah, my initial thoughts is poaching.
Okay.
I think poaching's bigger than it's ever been in the country right now.
Interesting.
And I think that whether people are just turning a blind eye to it or they're like, no, there's no way. I know my deer. Like, I know my area.
That's why you don't think we're seeing as many 180 pluses?
Yep.
Oh, I just think we're not getting that age class. Did you see that comment? Did you see Kip Adams did a podcast with Jake Hofer recently? And Jake put out a clip where Kip was basically saying we've got the best age class nationwide that we've ever had.
That's all DMAP data.
Do you see that?
No, I did see that clip.
Well, he basically was alluding to the fact that wherever the data came from,
DMAP. It's DMAP data from every state.
What do you mean? Some states don't have DMAP.
Right, so they're not in the system. So it's just any state that has.
Wouldn't it just be harvest data?
Nope. No, it's DMAP data. That's what the NDA makes their annual report.
So they're just deer that are killed with DMAP?
That are under DMAP properties. That's where the data, because from a harvest side, nobody ages their deer.
Right.
So when they get to say like, hey, we have more 3.5-year-olds than we've ever had,
interesting.
It's coming from DMAP data.
Okay.
Because you have to have jawbones with weights and everything else.
Okay.
So it's biased. That's why I say that.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, that is very relevant. So basically he's saying that like, I think it was 47% or so of the bucks that are harvested nationwide, apparently under this DMAP,
are 3.5 and older.
3.5 or older. So
yeah. It's the same with William from Mississippi when he said we kill more. That's DMAP data.
Yeah. Well, and so I'm like, it makes sense, and it's relevant to that question because I think we're way better at killing 3-year-olds than we ever have. So we kill a lot of them. I think that is our overall age class is being reduced, and those super high end bucks they're gone because of that. So we almost have the illusion of like having a better age class, age structure. Meanwhile, the top end bucks just aren't there.
I mean, I don't know if I'd argue that we don't have a better age structure as much as I would we're high grading. So I think we still probably have 4, 5, 6-year-old bucks like we always have had. We may even have more 4, 5, and 6-year-old bucks than we've ever had, but we're killing the best deer younger.
That's possible.
And so therefore what's recruited into, I just said it, like I've got all these 6-year-old bucks in Kentucky, they're 130 inches. Like that's not.
That's fair.
Is that because everybody's killing the 130-inch 3-year-olds? Maybe.
See, I lean a little more with Jared. I think we have this false sense of, we're killing more 3-year-olds than ever. Well, I think we got a bunch of guys in the woods that are way more effective.
Oh, absolutely are.
The bows go the right way. The arrows are
cell cameras. We talked about it.
Yeah, I think, and a lot of guys are happy to shoot a better racked buck. And so, and they know about them way more. Like, I think if you went back and guys that know about just bigger racked bucks in the 90s and 2000s, like, you only knew about what you spent time at. And a lot more properties are now hunted versus weren't hunted, back then. So I wonder if there was a sweet spot, and you don't have the technology to go back and look, but like before the bow hunting boom, I bet there was a pretty cool time to be in the woods. And I know a couple guys that hunt public land
2004,
20 years ago that are just like, dude, like if you only knew.
Yeah. There probably was a gap too. There was probably a lot of 1- and 2-year-old bucks and maybe not so much mid-age, but then the handful that made it to 5 or 6 were like mega giants.
I think both can be true. Like I think there's definitely high grading that's happening. Because I think most guys don't care about age.
No, a big buck's a big buck.
Yeah, they just want to shoot a deer with big antlers. But also, like we're saying, I think that it's way easier to do now. So it's like, I mean, there are states like in Ohio. Granted, I know everybody's situation is a little bit different, but generally speaking, like if you can't go out and kill a 3-year-old deer in Ohio, like you're not trying very hard.
Yeah, at least on private with a corn pal.
Exactly.
Odds are better.
Yeah, if you will. Public, I get it. Like it's not easy. It's
for sure. For sure. I'm using that
private in a corn pal for sure.
HUNTR Podcast is brought to you by Bushnell.
Man, what an iconic brand. I mean, I vividly remember growing up, it seemed like every serious deer hunter had a Bushnell pair of binoculars or a Bushnell rifle scope. You knew that those guys were serious about what they were about to go with if they were packing the Bushnell stuff.
No doubt, man. I remember Bone Collector guys and so many others that we've respected over the years. It's always been like your grandpa's rifle scope. And since then, obviously, they've developed so many great products. We're rocking the R series of binoculars this year. I believe it's the R5, 10x42s. Those have been awesome. We took those to TAC a couple weeks ago, along with the Broadhead rangefinder. It's got a ton of technology packed into it for angles and and for bow hunters ultimately. So that's been awesome.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest things, we've talked about this with a lot of the brands we're working for, is we want high quality gear that's affordable, and that's exactly what Bushnell's trying to position here. They want to make really good gear that anyone that's serious about deer hunting can afford. And so most of those R5 series binos that we're talking about are under $300 for unbelievable glass.
No doubt. And so for right now, you can use code HUNTR, HUNTR, to get a discount on the Bushnell website. That's bushnell.com.
I 100% believe that poaching is worse than it's ever been.
That happens too.
You think it's they also have all the tools we just talked about with
every single one. Thermal crossbow, 100-yard crossbows, suppressed rifles, everything, and it's all extremely easy to get. I mean, it's unless you're like you've got a record or something, like anybody can get a suppressor delivered to their door. And with today's turnarounds for a lot of the tax stamps eliminated, it's extremely. In fact, they're starting to deregulate suppressors across the country. Like I think South Dakota just did it, and there's 10 other states to follow. So you'll be able to get a suppressor directly to your door. Well, it still makes noise, but it's quiet.
Yeah.
The crossbows and thermals, I've seen that all over the place. Dude, there's guys running thermals on crossbows, and they're just like, yeah, I'm just hunting. And I'm like, why do you need a thermal then? Yeah. What's the whole point of that? I mean, a 100-yard crossbow with a thermal is a devastating tool for poachers.
Oh, it's a good time to be a poacher.
Dude, I'm telling you.
There's hardly any repercussions either.
There was one they just sent us. Ohio DNR just posted.
That's right.
I don't remember how many it was, 50, 60 deer that they had recovered out of the guy's house. And they gave him a $10,000 fine, like 9 days in jail, and they removed his hunting license for 9 years. You think a poacher cares about his hunting license? That's a slap in the wrist, dude. Until that starts getting stepped up to be like a significant felony, like
you'd think at a certain number of deer or a certain, class or something that it would be.
Dude, it's a slap on the wrist. That's why they're still doing it. That's why they're doing it at epic levels probably. And I'm not just saying like they're out at night poaching. Like this is just like whether it's out of season or, we just talked to Brett Smith. How many people are illegally baiting to kill deer in states that baiting's not legal?
Yeah.
Tons of them. There's guys, right now I could walk Ohio Public and find corn piles.
Oh, we do.
That's poaching. So it's at an absurd level. I blame social media. I blame industry. I blame all of that for that. But at the same time, it's like, with the technology available to him, I can use a corn pile, a cell camera, a crossbow that shoots 100 yards with a thermal scope.
And I don't disagree with like what you said there is like shooting a deer over corn is poach. So basically the act of poaching is shooting a deer while
violating a law.
Violating a law, basically. I think if you took that to the fullest extent, I bet it's a large number of deer are either intentionally or unintentionally poached.
Yeah.
Frankly, the number of unintentional, like people that are unintentionally breaking a law while shooting a deer, I bet legitimately, if you include the intentional and unintentional, it would account for 30 to 40% of all deer taken.
Give me an example of unintentional.
Oh, I don't know. Just
gray light before legal.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Or after.
Yeah. All of that. Not the right amount.
I can still see.
Not the right amount of orange. Like however you interpret the thing with cell cameras.
And I guess I don't necessarily.
I know you're
look
not
at that as poaching as much as like if I'm baiting on public land in Ohio, that's illegal, right? If I'm baiting here in Pennsylvania and I shoot a deer,
baiting
that's
one,
illegal.
dude, in Pennsylvania is probably accounts for a lot of it.
Oh man, I told you I haven't killed. The kids or I have not killed a buck on the mountain in 6 years, 7 years, that when I open it up doesn't have corn inside its stomach. There's not a cornfield within 100 miles of me up there.
Yeah.
Like, clearly somebody, and maybe it's, Granny throwing stuff out for the birds and squirrels. I don't know. Doubtful. I assume it's deliberate baiting for deer. And it makes sense. Like, those big woods are tough to hunt, but you put a corn pile out, there will be bucks on it. They will come to that corn pile.
God, it blows my mind. But I called a wildlife officer one time who didn't know baiting was illegal on public land.
What?
Yeah, this was back. I was in college.
Ohio?
Yes. Well, I guess he was park ranger. I'm gonna call him Officer Dan for this.
Yep, Officer Dan.
Officer Dan, I got a corn pile. I can meet you off so and so road. Like I got a pin I can give you or coordinates. No, like 10 minutes goes on the phone. No, it's just not, you can't bait on state or national forest. I'm like, no, dude, like any public piece. So I called the guy over the whole county, if you will. I said, hey, you need to go set Officer Dan straight. And they called me back a month later, said, no, we got him straightened out.
It's crazy, man. Yeah. And I mean,
how do you not know that?
There'll be plenty of people that will hear that and say, it's my land, I can do whatever I want. Like here in Pennsylvania, I would say you're right. A high likelihood that
I know
people are
the feeling is out there for sure.
And they just, they feel like they can do whatever they want. Honestly, if you were just like, would you shoot a deer out of season? For sure, they would. It's my land. I can do whatever I want. That's the mindset. That is the
people do seem to respect the season dates and bag limits more than they do the baiting thing. I know they feel pretty loose about. They're like, it's my property.
It's my property. I do what I want.
If I want to put a little bit of corn out and shoot a deer over it, that's my right. Yeah. I know people feel that way.
A lot of them. Yeah, I'm sure they're doing it in a lot of the states that baiting is illegal. So, you throw that into the mix from a poaching side, off the charts. And I guarantee there'll be 1,000 people that say, well, I don't really consider that poaching. And then it's like, okay, well, what do you? Well, shooting it under a spotlight at night or shooting it with thermals at night.
Well, that's
happening too.
That's the classic.
That's happening too.
That's the classic example.
Well, and again, if you relate it to like CJ's buck, obviously world-class animal gets a lot of attention, like people pay attention, right? But like how many guys are doing that to 130s and 140s that nobody even blinks an eye at? They're
dude, CJ did for years.
Yeah.
Before he shot on the same property.
Yeah. And just nobody cared because they were just not big deer.
Right. Not a world record.
Then all of a sudden you kill a giant and it draws the limelight. Yeah. People care.
That's the trick to being a good poacher is just never shoot a world record.
Yeah.
Never shoot.
Just always stay just under the threshold where people actually care on that side.
Never shoot a mega giant.
Yeah. And I mean, that's just kind of where we're at in society on some of this stuff. And I mean, I don't know how, a lot of the wardens, I think, are aware of it in their areas. Like, and there's for sure things happening in those areas where, like, there's undercover wildlife investigators all over the place. So if you think you can get away with it, just know that you might be talking to the wrong guy. But they're there, and it just takes time. Like that one that was just done in Ohio. I forget what they said it was. Years,
like 3 years, not even like a year ago.
Just going, and they knew, right? It was just like just let the evidence mount up, and then eventually they were like, "We gotcha."
Yeah,
and so it's happening. But I mean, but even think of that, like whatever. Let's just say hypothetically it was $30.
And all of that, 3 years worth of poaching for 10 grand, 9 years, 9 days,
in jail, and no license.
Well, we just talked about a very popular.
I'd rather get them on day one.
YouTube channel that recently got busted, where like my buddy turned in evidence years ago.
Yeah.
Did they publish? Like, is there
no?
That's public.
They just like fell off. Well, I don't know. They fell off.
They had to have put a news article or something out, right?
I don't know. Pull up their Instagram. There's probably just no post.
There's nothing. No, it was just. I remember us looking, and it was like they're just gone.
Yeah, and you see in the comments of like the latest post, like.
But it is for sure. There was a conviction, like.
It's Creek Kings.
Do we know that?
All right.
Well, yeah, and
we had them on.
Yeah, and I don't want to just drag anybody out because without all the facts, like that's why I'm asking if there was a conviction and.
I don't know. I know that there were charges filed for sure because I was contacted by an Ohio warden because they were on our show talking about situations that were linked to those things.
Right. Yeah. And we don't know. There was files.
No, and it wasn't like they were. It wasn't like I was giving a testimony. They were just asking if I knew anything different. I'm like, no. That's the only time I've engaged with those guys.
Yeah, my buddy got a follow-up call that, hey, we're taking legal action. Yeah. I think was.
And the warden was cool as shit. Honestly, he called me,
but we don't know whether there was any penalty assessed or.
We could probably Google it off air.
Why don't you Google
figure
it?
out
I'll
on air?
Yeah,
Jamie.
I assume if something came of that, they would have published something.
Maybe it was settled outside.
It's possible.
But there was definitely an investigation on there, and there was a reason.
Or maybe they couldn't prove anything.
Fell off.
They couldn't time anything.
I mean, they fell off of everything.
We know they stopped posting and stuff, like pursuing that.
Yeah.
As far as we can tell.
No, I still see Zach doing tattoos and stuff.
Me too. Great tattoos.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he's looking to do a tattoo for free for somebody, but he gets to draw and pick what it is. So if it's a big wiener on your arm, it's for free. Yeah, roll the dice.
Yeah. So what's this year look like for you, man? Are you plans for this upcoming season? Have you started thinking that far ahead yet? Or
yeah, obviously.
Tags? Have you been putting in for tag?
I've got some potential plays. I will go out of state for sure. I enjoy that. But a couple of my buddies will do west. I don't have the western bug. Mm-hmm. Just not time away to hunting ratio. Not good for me right now.
Yeah, it's a big commitment.
So yeah, I'll do some out of state hunting, and then we do a shed camp here in like a month, March. We try and time it up with the opening weekend of March Madness.
Yeah.
So we go scout till 3 or 4 o'clock, come back to camp, drink beers, and with the rabbit ears, with the rabbit ears and a generator, we can pull in the game. So like that's like a kickoff or peak event here for the off season. And I got some.
Is that public? You're shed hunting mostly?
I mean, I
was gonna say you're just like walking the same 100 acres or something.
Yeah, like unless you got a bunch of ground, how much can you really?
Yeah.
So
do you guys find many sheds on public?
Dude, it's hit or miss for me. With everything. I remember one year I went 70 miles, 2 sheds.
Yeah, it sounds like my seasons.
Last year I probably did 20 miles and 6-7 sheds.
A lot of miles, dude.
Dude, I used to pound the miles. Like I went through that period where my wife was a nurse, so generally she was working occasionally, like 2 weekends, and we had 2 bird dogs. So I'd just go 7 miles one day, come back, and ice bath, and go the next. If she worked, I could take the 2 bird dogs. They were tired, and like, I used to do a little better. The one dog, she could find hammers. I found a match or like a 150 class side during gun drive one time. And I was like, all right, we'll go back in there and try and find the other side. Dude, thing had been chewed down to the bones. We're on the same, like, I don't know, knob system that goes to the bottom. And I watched that dog go under the leaves and pull out the left beam.
Wow.
To a match set 150-ish class Big Woods buck, like
dang,
100%. But yeah, I used to pound some miles. I remember a bow hunting fiend, though, put me in my place. He David Goggins me one time. I thought I was doing big. Like, I got like 50 miles, and he posted like, oh, I'm on like 70. And I was just like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's what it takes.
Dude, some of those guys put on hundreds.
Yeah.
Like from March 1st to April 30th, they'll put on hundreds of miles shed hunting.
You know what'll ruin you for shed hunting is shed hunting farm country with a good standing food source.
Yeah.
Like when you realize you're like, oh, I can walk 1 mile and find 10 sheds.
Yeah.
It's hard to go back to public and walk.
Some of those Midwest public ground, like river bottoms and stuff, are really good though. Like as long as you get there.
Well, dude, we've done really well in Kansas. Yeah. You know what I mean? On public stuff. You know, that's this guy right here, and I've got some at home. Those are all from good sections of public in Kansas. Mm-hmm. So there's areas, I mean, but that is
it's hit or miss.
Farm country.
Yeah, it's hit or miss too. Like if you come too early, most of them are still holding. You get there too late, somebody's already walked a large chunk. Like you're walking 15, 20 miles a day, and like you may walk 10 miles that somebody else walked the exact same trail.
That's a huge part about shed hunting public. It's like, it's not like a deer where it's like, oh, I missed them by 5 minutes. It's like they're either there or they're not.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Maybe they walk past it, but
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, last year I had a pretty good year. I think I found a match set, and he was like right at 130. So what would he have been last year? And then I found a 6 point, but he was probably like 115 as a 6 point.
Mm-hmm.
didn't have a brow for like the first 7-8 inches. Like it almost looked like a G2.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. He's probably wide buck. I found him this year, obviously doing his thing. I didn't kill him. But some years we find some good ones. Some years not so much.
Yeah. Dude, big woods shed hunting is tough on the brain. Like, it's cool because I love being out in the woods at that time, just scouting in general.
Yeah.
Like, just finding sign and looking in places that I've been watching on a map forever. But, like, it is truly a needle in the haystack. I mean, if I find a shed while I'm out big woods scouting, I'm, like, doing cartwheels.
Oh, yeah, dude, you get jacked to see it. Occasionally, too, like, I've found sheds not during shed season in the big woods where you're, like, walking along or, like, I was hunting a ledge one time, and I'm sitting up there in the stand. I'm like, that's got to be an antler. That's got to be a main beam. It's got to be. Come dark, I go over and pull it. It's like, a 145 class buck. I'm like,
crazy.
But yeah, like we don't find many.
Yeah, me either. We find, I don't know. How many did we find in Illinois last year? And that's on like our farm.
We did good. I think
5 or 6.
Oh, at least. I think we were 8 or 9.
Were we?
I thought so.
Maybe.
Yeah, we found Kamikaze. We found that one right there.
A couple small ones.
You found that, at least one off the
3-year-old. Yeah.
Yeah, I found that other 2-year-old. For sure. I want to say we were at 7 or 8.
It really comes down to like it's just even like right now, like you're saying, most of your deer drop. Like all my deer in Kentucky are holding it and they're running around like crazy. It's like, where are they going to be when it's time and they drop? Because that's where you're going to find them.
Oh yeah, that's all it is.
It's usually food source, right? But in the big woods, is that an acorn flat because we don't have any snow? Is that like browse that they're in? Did they find somebody standing grain field and they just completely moved and migrated out of there?
I mean, dude, I bet so because of the yarding stuff that we talked about earlier in that section. One of those sections where I'm feeding alfalfa and I've got that feeder in there. I don't know. Let's say there's a 45-acre section of woods right there. I bet I'd be surprised if we don't find 15 antlers in it.
Wow.
Dude.
In a day, we'll go comb it. So, and the number of antlers we have is directly correlated to how many people we have walk. Because if there's 2 of us, Dad and I will walk by them.
Oh yeah.
If we have 5, 6 guys, we'll find 15, 20 of them. I bet.
And it even depends too. Like if you go on the cloudier day and maybe there's a little bit of like snow melt or moisture. And
100. I'm almost to the point where it's like, unless we are out of state and we have no choice, I'm not going to shed hunt on a sunny day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes such a big difference if you get a moist, overcast day.
Agree.
With no snow, obviously.
Yeah,
that's crazy, man.
I take a little time off to scout/shed hunt, like February, March, cabin fever.
That's the best time. It
is
from
it's a great time.
From a scouting side. Like if you're in big woods
some
or
hope,
whatever.
some hope at that time. It's like, snow's melted.
That's the downfall though, because I do want a little sun on my face at that time. I'm like, it just feels good to be out there. It is tough though when you get into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, from a scouting side, there's no better time to be out in the woods to just be looking at sign. And
I learned a lot just this past day filling feeders, just watching in the deep snow, like where the direction that they're coming from.
Yep.
Yeah,
I thought about going after this to a spot to pull a couple SD cams and like, I was like, dude, but parking's going to be in pain and it's like super cold still. And I'm like, but you might learn a little bit from that snow.
Mm-hmm.
Like, snow's deep right now.
Yeah, it don't lie.
You're going to just try. Yeah. Well, you might be able to walk on top of some of it if it's ice.
Dude, I thought we were going to have to pull that forester yesterday out with a winch. Like he was, the snow was pretty deep and he was like not really physically prepared for it kind of a thing.
Yeah.
It was a little hairy.
A little walk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess before we wrap up, so we talked briefly about obviously the whitetail experience side, and then you were talking about you and Kevin are kind of got this new apparel stuff launching, right, or brand launching.
Yeah.
So anything you want to tell us deeper on that one yet, or are we still early in the game?
No. We've launched I think we have like 5 SKUs on the website. So yeah, Kevin HUNTR Podcast, OG of the podcast game, we kind of paired up to do some entrepreneurial aspects of things. I also do I've got a affordable shed mount that is actually pretty cool. Is
that the gravel jaw stuff?
Yeah. So I partnered with him where I had some skills. I was like, dude, I got a website ready. I got, marketing abilities. Clearly, I was passionate about some of the shed mount stuff before that. And I was like trying to come up with a way. And him and I teamed up because I saw his story one day. I was like, dude, that's really cool. I think we can make something happen here.
Yeah.
And that's been awesome. 2 guys working seems to work well. Just man hours, right?
Sure.
We both have day jobs, kids. It's like, I can't devote X number of hours a week.
It works better that way, because that way you're not like, you don't feel one person's like, oh man, I'm doing all the work and he's working his day job and like I'm carrying,
Yeah.
You balance it really well.
Yeah. So I had failed at a e-commerce style business, I don't know, a year before that. And then, Kevin and I this year, we launched Deer Hunter Gear, USA made, kind of a clothing gear apparel company. And we're not trying to be like a McDonald's, a Starbucks. We're trying to be that like local bakery that just does a few things really well. And I think, if we fail, we fail, but we've launched, we got 5 SKUs on the website.
Is that online exclusive?
Yeah. I'm the shipping department.
Yeah, of course, obviously.
As well as the marketing department. Actually, I gotta move some cash around and pay the vendor. Like, our vendor is.
You're the finance department as well.
I guess I am. But yeah, WSI Sports, they make like they've made a lot of high quality cold weather performance gear for athletes.
Oh, cool.
So he's a lot of stuff for like NFL postseason type stuff. Like they supply the Baltimore Ravens with their under garments, if you will, like that base layer for specific needs. The owner has a piece that Tom Brady wore in one of the Super Bowls.
Oh, damn.
So yeah, that's what they specialize in, and they've been a partner of Kevin's more at like the I don't know, partnering with a small podcast, and he's like, well, what if we try and launch a gear company? Could you guys be our manufacturer? And set down that journey. It's been 2 years, like trying to get things in line and get a SKU that we approve the prototype. And
so what are those SKUs right now? Like what's the base foundation? Are they like performance apparel type SKUs?
Yeah. Or? So right now we have like top wise, like we have a performance quarter zip that is, it is a bamboo blend. We have a bamboo blend. Yeah, we have hunting boxers. We had a pretty funny reel the other day.
Hunting boxers?
Yeah. But it is the bamboo blend has like some micro abilities with odor and resistance to microbial biomes that grow obviously in your crotch. But sports base, let's take it to the deer woods kind of thing. We have a hand muff that's pretty decent. It's got a little harder shell that I think like, wow, this is a nice piece for the price point. It's not at the upper end of the spectrum, but it's not at the lower tier.
Cool.
So that's kind of where we're trying to like.
So very like focused niche pieces of like these would be maybe missing, in the space or lacking in the space.
I wouldn't say missing. I would just say core essentials that if you're new to deer hunting or like, hey, I want one piece that does a lot of things well, like a work truck, right?
Yeah.
It's not trimmed out in extra chrome, but it's going to work for you.
Functionally perform.
Made in the USA too. That's kind of a cool aspect to it.
Well, yeah, and obviously the manufacturer's background is legitimate, so that makes a lot of sense to lean into it.
Yeah. So we have, like I said, about 5 SKUs on the website. Hand muff, micro fleece hoodie. That's a little heavier weight, like does well. And we're working on a pant made out of similar material, more of a mid-weight pant. We're probably a year or two away from having like cold weather exterior. We might get a jacket out, but it's going to take a couple.
Are they camo
prototypes.
patterned?
The camo pattern is actually something Kevin worked with a guy who used to work in the space.
Yeah.
Designed it. It's open-esque, if you will. Not full-blown Predator, but it is open. It is digital.
Sure.
We just launched a lighter pair of gloves that is made out of this like heater performance thing. That's pretty cool. Like I looked at them, I'm like, Kevin, these are not going to be too warm. But dude, I wore them on that muzzleloader hunt when it was 20s to 32 was our high. And you got to think I'm holding a blaster. Yeah. I took a squirrel gun.
Yeah.
But holding metal all day. And like, I was like, okay, Kev,
awesome.
You did good. He's done a lot more of the prototype testing. So Michigan winters, and I'm talking middle Michigan, not southern
Michigan.
Yeah. So that's been kind of the biggest project here over the last 2 to 3 years. And, it's kind of spending what I spend my time on. I'm not chasing contracts from players in the space. I kind of am trying to
build a brand,
build a company.
Cool.
Learning what I've learned from being a micro influencer.
Well, no, man, I think it's a good space. I think that, if you said 10 years ago you're going to do that, it's like, it's an uphill battle. Not that it's easy by any means now, but I think our community is more receptive to brands like that are smaller, niche focused, right? Like they're just not, we just don't feel the need to like always be nichey to like, oh, we only wear this brand or we only use this thing or we only do this thing. It's like we're more open to the right products for the job essentially, which I think is a big change in the industry from 15 years ago, which is like, there was just major brands. And if you weren't in the major brands, like you didn't have anything. There was no other opportunities for it. Nobody was making small business, focused type products and stuff like that. So yeah, man, I think it's a really good fit and probably a good market for it at this point in the deer hunting space.
Yeah, I mean, it is a little scary, right? There's been a lot of small camo companies from, like, I'll call it Plythel, Vooney, might not even be around anymore, Six Sight. Like, there has been a lot of companies that have tried to, like, niche into maybe, like, I'll call it the Predator ASAT realm of, not the big dogs, but still gain some market size. But, we're trying to do it our way a little bit. I mean, I think being the face of it, we're two guys that are passionate about deer hunting. Fathers, pro Second Amendment. Not everything has to be the straight-laced camo companies that are out there.
Sure.
Right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think if anything, there's, we've told this to the Predator guys, is like, I think there's probably a bigger gap than ever in like camo apparel for deer hunting. It's I don't feel like Sitka or Kuiu or First Light or Mossy Oak or whoever, I don't feel like anybody has like the lion's share of the deer hunter anymore. I think it's more wide open from a playing standpoint to just, what apparel works for you and what pattern works for you or that you believe in. And then that's the camp that you go into. And it's very segmented at this point, which leaves openings for people that are like, there's a lot of guys like we were Sitka, and part of that was with the Whitetail Properties relationship that we had at the time. But, and it was like, it was great apparel, but I hated the pattern. With passion. They make great clothes, but the pattern was not good. And so like from a Predator side, it was like, we've always loved that pattern, and they've had one good apparel suit, but the rest of it was not good. And so like we worked this year with them, like their whole new 26 line is a lot of the stuff that we kind of infused in them last year of like, hey, this is what guys are looking for, this layering system, this is what we want. And like they were open to it and they made it. And so it may not be for everybody, but like the pattern is what we like, and the apparel now is a good fit for it. So, and I think that Predator knows that they're probably not going to be the next Sitka necessarily, but they don't need to be either. Like they just need to own their niche and find their audience. And if that's the whatever upper Midwest guy or whoever, like they'll find the right person for that. But yeah, it's just before it was like you said, it was like those camps, right? It was Realtree, Mossy Oak, Sitka, First Light, maybe Kuiu, but those were the camps. And now I think it's very much diversified outside of that, to just feel whatever's best for the people that are looking for something that fits their style.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, I've sat in marketing meetings with bigger companies in the space, huge name. They didn't put a piss zipper in their bibs. The guy who was sitting across the table from me could not read a topo map.
Yeah.
Like,
they had no idea.
Yeah. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Why not try?
Yeah, man. I think it's good. I mean, obviously, if you're the end consumer as well, like, you know what you're making. And that's probably, to your point, that's probably the big lack from a lot of companies is like a person who's designing and making stuff isn't even using it for the right purposes, to be out there. So I think it'd be cool. So where are they seeing that stuff at?
Yeah, deerhuntergear.com. Pretty easy. Can't miss that one.
Good SEO.
HUNTR.
Yeah. The E is there. Yeah. You have to correct this audience. Maybe they're too used to leaving that one out.
Well
That's
played.
good. That was good. Well, cool, dude. Well, we appreciate you coming out and spending some time with us, and look forward to continuing this relationship and just having good conversations, and appreciate the stuff that you've been going out and calling out from a technology side and things that you see that personally you're just like, I don't feel like this is right, and I think hopefully you're seeing that there's enough of us behind that we're like, we agree.
Yeah.
We agree.
Well, I'm going to give you guys a little shout out too, because I remember conversations on prior podcasts when podcasts were new, and you could tell the guests steered away from difficult conversations, and taking hard takes does take some cojones. So kudos to you guys who are I think keeping deer hunting, overall perspective in mind.
Yeah.
So kudos to you.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah. We just want open and honest, conversations. We don't know everything. We don't know maybe what is the right decision even, but if we don't have an open discussion about it, we surely aren't going to navigate to the right decision. So that's it. We just want to have open dialogue with people and hear everyone's thoughts and at the end of the day, I mean, the whole goal for us still is that we want people to have great deer hunting experiences. We want our kids to have a great deer hunting experience, and at least for right now, not necessarily because of the community, but maybe from the industry side and from the state side of things, we're trending in a bad direction. And so we just need to have discussions to figure out, hey guys, what can we do to mitigate where we're going, and how do we make sure that, my kids who are 10 and 13, your kids who are under 5 are going to have a great deer hunting experience 20 years from now. And where we're going, I can guarantee that they're probably not.
I just want us to be able to have hard conversations, like internally as a demographic of hunters. I have such a distaste for the can't we all just get along, and as long as it's legal type of a mindset, because what you don't understand is the people who are making these laws don't care about the resource nearly as much as you and I do. Mm-hmm. And when it goes away someday, that argument is going to do nothing for you.
Nothing.
So you got to have these conversations. They're going to be uncomfortable, and just is what it is.
That's because you can't make everybody happy. There's not been a single thing in society that everybody's been made happy. You look at the politic world right now. Like, it's impossible. And so what you have to do, at least, is the hope would be is if you pulled any deer hunter, let's focus on that for a second, that they would say they care about the resource, right? They want to see deer. Some people know the implications of certain things down the road more than others do, just because of the level of involvement or knowledge or just sheer engagement with it. And so those people sometimes have to look and call out things that these people may not see right now, but it's really in an effort to protect them from it down the road. And so, take it for what it's worth. We've got tough skin.
We're happy to fall on that sword.
We got tough skin. It doesn't hurt us. So
that's the basketball analogy perfectly.
Yeah, man.
10 guys play on a pickup basketball game. 3 of those guys will do anything to win. They'll lie about the score. They'll travel. They'll foul you. Whatever. They're not. They don't care. They just want to win. The next group of 6 guys falls into like, oh, if I foul you, I will call it on myself.
Yep.
If I drag my pivot foot, I might not say anything.
Right.
There's generally only one guy on the basketball court that cares about basketball enough that he doesn't have to win every game because he likes the game of basketball.
Yeah, he'll be the first at the line to shake hands with the other team too.
Yep, and if he travels or drags a pivot foot, he's like, yep, turnover.
That was me.
Yep, turnover.
Yeah, and there's ownership in everything. Like I said, everybody has their own flaws in this viewpoint in the system, and we don't know it all, but without the right discussions taking place and hopefully the right people taking accountability for it, we're going to continue on a downhill slide. And if you don't think we're on a downhill slide right now, you need to look into it more. That's the way I look at it.
Agreed.
And that's it. Anyways, we appreciate everyone listening to this podcast. We appreciate Byron coming out and spending some time with us, and we will catch y'all on the next one.
Later.
Take me